Is going to join us 1 hour from now. Get his perspective. Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl rematch, Monday night at Arrowhead. We're also here in about 15 minutes going to get into suddenly a third site reportedly emerging on the Royals' future stadium plans. And here we are a week away from Thanksgiving, and we're not narrowing sites. It sounds like we're adding additional sites. What a mess. We'll get the latest on that coming up in a little bit. But we'll be honest, we're pivoting a little bit because just before we hopped on the air, we got the latest update and what has been something we've covered extensively on this show.
And we'll continue to cover extensively on this show.
And that, of course, is Chiefsaholic, where ESPN just announced Werewolf, the search for Chiefsaholic, will premiere November 20th exclusively on ESPN+. Here's what they said. It says, a new long-form documentary unravels the astonishing tale of Kansas City Chiefs superfan Xavier Bubadar, or whatever his name was, Babadar. 40-minute show to take viewers on a gripping journey through the life of Babadar, a passionate football enthusiast whose alleged actions took a criminal turn, leaving the nation in shock. In his first public comments, we're gonna hear from him.
Read through by the lawyer. That's, to my understanding, it's not his face.
Yeah, it says
but comments he makes through his. Remember his lawyer.
Right.
Let's not forget what his lawyer was like. Okay, let's not forget that part of
this
story.
Lawyer.
This is not Chiefsaholic's last drive, and he believes, and we believe, that when the final whistle blows, and all of the facts are known, that he is going to be redeemed in the eyes of his community, in the eyes of his fans, and in the eyes of the Chiefs' kingdom.
So that was comments on the courthouse steps months and months ago from the attorney. And as we all assumed, at some point there were going to be documentaries. This is just the first of many, right? We'll get other ones. This is the first one. Here's how the trailer sounds for Werewolf, the story of Chiefsaholic from ESPN. It's going to debut on Monday. Now, the question is this going to be available before the Chiefs-Eagles game? Because I might have to sneak this watch in before we get the Chiefs and Eagles.
I might be more interested in breaking this down than two teams at the top of the NFL.
All right, if it's just me, by the way, I don't think it's my headphones. Is his mic 100 miles, like way, way high? It is blasting.
Is it crazy?
It is blasting through my ears.
I'm yelling
I don't
louder
think you're
than
doing it.
normal.
I just didn't know if his mic is way up on the board.
Oh, you know what?
For some reason, your level was hot.
Okay.
Well, like my microphone was all the way up. Is that because Bob was trying to play stuff through his
That's
computer?
exactly what it was.
Okay.
I was like, something was off. Anyway,
like, I'm
we're
not
good.
saying
No,
anything
you're not
different
doing
than
anything
normal.
different. So I just could tell.
Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
I yell all the time.
Yeah, it sounded really bad. Anyway, we're good. Here's how the trailer sounded for this new show involving Chiefsaholic.
Describe Chiefsaholic to someone who's never heard of him.
He was honestly like the poster child for Chiefs fans.
It had a good look. People really were attracted to it.
I texted him. I was like, dude, you just put 80 racks on the Chiefs? And he's like, don't let that get out. I like to hustle in private.
Chiefsaholic is like on the run.
How dangerous do you think he is right now?
How dangerous is armed robbery? How dangerous is anybody who's alleged to have committed an armed robbery?
Allegedly, he entered the bank. We believe he jumped over the counter, had his face covered, a gun in a woman's chest, asked to be taken to the hundreds.
I believe that my client is innocent.
That he didn't commit any of these crimes that he's charged with.
I believe that my client is innocent until proven guilty.
Yes! Yes!
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Monday night, our first glimpse of this 40-minute little special they're doing on ESPN Plus, and eventually we'll probably get a Netflix documentary. But this one is called Werewolf: The Search for Chiefsaholic, premiering November 20th. The minute the attorney for Chiefsaholic stepped onto the courthouse floor and said what he said, you knew that was his pitch to be on all these shows. That was his moment. And sure enough, he's on the show.
This is highly anticipated. And yes, I have it on good authority. Sources tell me that Netflix is working on a documentary. So we could assume that maybe they didn't get beat to market, right? ESPN got there first, but look at this thing. It's like Teen Wolf campiness meets intense crime doc. There is no way to not be interested in watching that movie or show or whatever you want to call it coming up on Monday. My only disappointment is that they're releasing it the same day as Chiefs Eagles. How dare they do that to
Well, they
me?
did that on purpose. That's on purpose.
I need these things I need them at different times. I need different full days to consume them.
Now, here's the people that are interviewed in this. Are you upset you weren't interviewed or we weren't interviewed for this?
A little bit.
All right,
I'll be honest.
So,
yes.
Chiefsaholic, of course, was interviewed, although, again, as you said, he's not on camera. It's just through his attorney. His attorney, the police chief in Bixby, Oklahoma, which was the bank robbery,
Great. Makes
the area,
sense.
okay? District attorney for Tulsa. Another Chiefs super fan, Lynn Weirdwolf Schmidt, is interviewed. And
there's a second Wolf?
And then Braden Turner, who saw him multiple times at Hollywood Casino and stuff, and basically, and he does some podcast stuff. He's you heard his voice during the trailer as well. That's who's interviewed in this piece.
Okay, I am a little disappointed that this show wasn't asked about it. And if Netflix is interested, we are still willing, and I think might be foremost experts on the topic. We knew this was going to happen. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to happen this fast, Gold. I didn't think we would get a Chiefsaholic doc before his criminal trial was even complete. It hasn't even started. It starts next year. I still can't believe it's so funny the way show stuff works. Is we had a segment planned, we had all this different stuff planned, even like last night, right? I got some of this planned. And there's that little bit of Royals news we'll get into in a minute, right? We're like, oh, maybe there's a third side. Like, oh, that's interesting. And then Travis and Jason's song is #1 on iTunes. We're like, well, I mean, we got to talk about that on this show. I brought in the mystery box. It is on my desk currently as it sits. You guys have lifted it. You felt the weight. But they all have to take a back seat because the Chiefsaholic trailer is out. And obviously, you and I are interested in this story. And I want to know what these law enforcement officers are saying about all the crimes he was allegedly committing.
Yeah, it says that he agreed to answer questions, but he wouldn't answer questions about his case. Obviously, he painted a picture of a man who got caught up in his own super fan persona.
I
don't know if we're really going to hear details.
That's a great line.
I don't think we're going to get details on anything involved in hey, what he around the robberies or what he didn't do. It's just going to be like how he got carried away being a super fan and all this. So, but I'm watching. I hope it comes out early in the day Monday so we can watch it well before.
Well, I mean, like what, 2:30? I mean, the second I just get off the show, or am I trying to get up early? Like, are we getting
before
up at 5 a.m. to watch this?
Watch it. Well, if we find out it's out Monday, we have to watch it before the show Monday. Yeah.
I mean, it's only 40 minutes. I mean, I guess we can all watch it together at
It's not that long. Yeah.
9 or something. We can all watch it together right before the show. We could have a special screening. What do you guys think? Special screening of the Chiefsaholic doc for ESPN Plus?
Drew, during the break, I'll shoot you an email. Let's try to get one of the reporters that's featured in this on the show maybe tomorrow or Monday. So we'll work on that. I think Elizabeth Merrill, who is involved in this, be good.
I'll be honest. I mean, again, this is one of the biggest games of the entire NFL schedule. It is the #1 team. It is the halfway point Super Bowl. It is the #1 team in the AFC versus the #1 team in the NFC. And they just played each other in the Super Bowl last year. And they're going to give me the Chiefsaholic doc too? What a Monday. What a Monday of a holiday week too, right, Cole? Just, you know what? It'll be perfect time to take in all of this. It's like the gluttonous part of Thanksgiving. I get to take in all of this information on Monday and Tuesday, then the rest of the week do this end of it, and we'll be perfect. This is exactly what I needed. I was not expecting a Chiefsaholic trailer doc today.
Not dropping today.
Instead, we got it.
Did not think that was gonna drop. We were planning on talking about the Royals, though, a little bit, because yesterday afternoon there was a report from Sam McDowell over the Kansas City Star that the Royals are considering a third site. And it's not a new site necessarily, right? We had heard this kind of South Loop, old KC Star building, right? You guys all see the beautiful glass building that's been empty for a very long time now.
It was super cool when it was built, but it's been empty for
2 years.
long.
It was cool for 2 years when then the dynamics of journalism and everything changed and they decided to move out, or they had to move out and everything. Anyway, long story short, that building's available. That at one point was mentioned as a site. Now it seems to be back in play according to this report, and that means you've got 3 sites. You have 2 Jackson County downtown locations, and you still have the Clay County site in North Kansas City. The mayor's saying the 2 sides have been in substantiated talks right now. Look, not only is it just timing is just ridiculous considering it's Thanksgiving next week and the ballot target date is still April. the deadline to get on the ballot in Jackson County is January, and you still have to run a campaign for it. The fact that they're not narrowing sites, they might be expanding sites, is a problem. The other part isn't the whole idea and the one big selling point for building a new stadium instead of staying in your 50-plus-year-old stadium that you were going to be able to put more money back into the team? Why? Not because of the actual stadium, but because of the district in which ownership would own. The $1 billion that John Sherman and the ownership group is willing to pony up was going to go to private development, right? Hotels, restaurants, condos, you name it, whatever, around the facility. That would be year-round opportunities as well, and that ideally they would put some of that money back in the team in the future. Well, this site, well, I actually like the site location-wise. It's right by P&L. It's near the streetcar. It's actually a great location. The problem is there's a bunch of buildings you're going to have to demolish and buy out, and I don't know if you're going to be able to build the district that you want to build on that site, which defeats the whole purpose of this.
I think this is an unserious thing. Maybe I'm misreading it. I'm not saying they haven't had conversations. Sam McDowell's a very good reporter. I'm sure that's true. But it might be as simple as, hey, if you're interested, we'd also be interested in selling this site. And they're offering it probably cheap because it's just sitting there and has been kind of useless space. But the space doesn't make sense. This feels like another quick story in the cycle that is this thing. And I'll say, they really should, Gold, by all standards, they really should try to figure out what it is they're going for in this, right? Like what they want out of this deal, what they think they can get out of this deal. To me, all this says more than anything, in fairness, is they're serious about Jackson County more than Clay, right? I mean, is that about the end of the line for you? I don't see it being anything other than that. Unless I'm missing something here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's more interested in the site with this third site coming along. Like, is this something that Jackson County is preferring the Royals go with? I would assume it's not the Royals side, though, Cody, because while the location is great, it is. It's probably the best location of the three, it is. But not from what you're trying to accomplish. If you're the Royals, you're trying to have this huge district that is going to bring in revenue year-round, which then we all believe, right, goes some at least back into the team moving forward for how they can compete in 2028 and beyond. And if you're not going to have that, then what is the point?
I wonder if it's Jackson County trying to suggest think smaller. Like, hey, let's what if he thought smaller, rather than a $2 billion project or whatever, right? I know they've said $1 billion, right? But maybe maybe we shrink the size of this a little bit. Maybe that would change the infrastructure needs. If anything, to me, this is like a Jackson County offering up some other things because of their own infighting. Not that the Royals themselves are looking to change locations. I still think a lot of the dysfunction, not all of it necessarily, Gold. I'm not saying the Royals have no blame in this, but Jackson County seems like they're at the head of a lot of this, don't they? That they are causing part of the problem or a good chunk of the problem here, and they got to get some of their own house in order so that the Royals can move forward here?
I still think this goes back to the timeline and how it can impact the Chiefs, right? Because, as I said, April's the ballot target date, if you still believe that's realistic. And if you're going to have to do a real campaign to get this thing passed in Jackson County or Clay County, but really we're talking about Jackson County, if you're the Chiefs, again, they can't do anything until the Royals know exactly what they're doing. I know you and I have gone back and forth about what the Chiefs should be doing or shouldn't be doing within this, but they can't move forward with that until they know for sure, are the Royals actually moving downtown or not? And the Royals won't know, not only until they select the site, because just because the Royals select the site doesn't mean the Chiefs can assume they're 100% out of the Truman Sports Complex. They have to wait till it passes. And so the longer this takes, the more it has an impact on what the Chiefs can do. Because at some point in time, if you're Clark Hunt, you're going to say, we're tired of waiting for the Royals to figure this crap out in Jackson County to figure this out. We're going to go do our own thing. Like that's something that could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to
and they're not
right
there
now,
yet,
but it is definitely in play if the Royals in Jackson County don't get this thing rolling. The third site thing, it's just more the notion of it that frustrates me. I don't mind the third site.
We were down to 2. Let's just stick to 2.
Yeah, it's more just saying that they're really not any closer. That's the problem I have with it, knowing that, again, Thanksgiving is next week, man. Like, this was supposed to be decided in September.
Yeah, they probably regret saying that. I would assume. I don't know. I mean, I assume they regret saying we'll figure it out by the end of summer.
Well, they might have underestimated Frank White's willingness to, for lack of a better term, be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, they did. Definitely underestimated that. and the problems Jackson County and Jackson County voters are going to have in this scenario. But that's it. I mean, I thought that was the whole point of the Clay thing. Like, should you just progress your talks there if it seems like you're going to run into a lot
I think they
of
maybe are
problems?
finding out more and more the Clay County side's just not realistic financially.
I mean, it requires more infrastructure. It requires a larger tax
That's the problem.
ask.
That's the
It
problem.
requires more. It just does. It obviously requires more. But at some point, you'll have to consider it as at least a semi-viable option if every time you try to get something done in Jackson County, you continue to run into this mess with them. Because it's not, you're right, it doesn't feel like it's progressing forward. But also, I don't take this as these are serious talks about a new site as much as at some point they're just like, what if it was here instead?
But that means that they're not, you know what I mean? But that does mean
understand.
they're not close.
It means they're still they're still taking suggestions, I guess, is it. I obviously think it's still going to go to one of the two sites.
And things aren't going to move any quicker, by the way, around the holidays. We all know things in any business bog down around Thanksgiving, and the next thing you know, it's Christmas, and it's a new, like there's a lot. Things don't move as quick over the next month and a half as they do in September.
No.
She just doesn't.
What's the new deadline? I mean, we know what the actual deadline
End
is.
of January if they want it on the ballot in Jackson County in April. But then they still have to campaign.
I would think like they got to
Not
get
good.
it done in the next 3 weeks. 4 weeks? Is that too optimistic?
Well, at this point, anything's on the table, right?
Pick one of the three, then, or
at
pick.
this point,
Announce a site in the next month? I mean, that's Christmas, dude. That's Christmas. That's like,
I feel like it's a lot easier said than done.
well,
a lot more that-
obviously,
yeah.
because
That's-
if that were the case, I remember the conversations when these started here when they were talking about getting on the August ballot. So I understand that these things might take a little bit longer. There was at some point when they thought this previous August, there was a chance they could be voting on this issue. Obviously, that came and gone, and that was never really realistic. But then they started talking about, they're talking about the April ballot, and that's the only new one they've given. And then they said the end of summer, and now it's, like you said, we're a week away from Thanksgiving, and nothing has really been decided, which is, I mean, I get it. Feels like the slowest moving stadium.
Are you not surprised, though, just that, like, the third site, again, we've said it a few times, the location actually is really nice.
Yeah, right next to,
But-
there's already pre-built stuff.
Well, and remember, they're gonna what do you call it? They're gonna close off the highway. Like the highway will have the
they're
green
gonna have that big
space,
park.
the green space above it. So it actually makes sense from that regard.
Just
But
makes them
why
no
would
money.
you be interested if you're the Royals in that site?
It's thinking smaller.
Like
Maybe
you-
the Royals would take it because they get the stadium, but they get way less of the development, which in truth, I think is the thing they probably want more.
That to me, if I'm a Royals fan, that sucks.
Well, it's like,
because
then it's
you're
like,
not-
why not just fix the other stadium then?
Well,
If I'm
the whole-
not getting everything new with it.
One of the big selling points, I think, even if you're very skeptical of the entire project, if you're someone that's been kind of against it or just skeptical, that's fine. But at least maybe you were willing to say, you know what, maybe you can buy into the idea that eventually that means they're going to bring in revenue year-round with this ballpark district, and therefore they will be able to put some of that money back into the team as a new source of revenue and what's required to compete in today's day and age of Major League Baseball. So you could maybe get behind that at least
But
and
then
say,
you're
okay,
like, well, they're not going to get the extra money, then what am I doing here?
right.
Other than just having because at that point, then it does feel like, well, then let's just fix Kauffman. Like, can't we just make it look nice? And it does look nice. Obviously, it's an incredible stadium, but sometimes I feel like these stories that have come up, especially it feels like more in the last 8 weeks. Normally, I would take them as we're getting closer to the finish line. But I don't know. I mean, Lucas could be he's the only one saying there are substantive talks. And normally you just be like, hey, you don't need to say anything if you guys are having real talks and things are moving forward. But mayors talk and they say stuff. And I don't, does that mean anything that they're moving forward? I still think they're progressing with Jackson County. I still think they'll get it on the April ballot. I don't know that this third site makes me feel less confident other than it makes less sense for the Royals in my mind.
And if they and whenever they ultimately settle on something, this whole process 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember every little detail of. No. If it all turns out the way some people believe it should, or if it turns out the way the Royals would like and in Jackson County is happy as well. But one thing everybody can agree on, this entire process has not gone as planned, and it has made all parties involved, by the way, at times look incompetent. Play the blame game on everyone, right?
Yeah,
There's some
that's
more
fair.
than others, but all sides look terrible throughout this whole thing.
Yes. I mean, it just looks like a giant loop of dysfunction, right? Where it's like nobody's going to get everyone at the table together and we're all just going to figure this out. No? Okay. I guess we're just stuck there. I did mention the mystery box has come in. What did you think of the wait?
Heavier than I thought, but at the
Is
same
that a good
time,
or a bad thing? I think I like a little weight to it.
Yeah, so they're going to open the mystery box, the $250 mystery box tomorrow during Club 610. It feels like there's not just one item in there, but also there's a chance that there's one big item and then there's just a bunch of small things. Like I mentioned yesterday, the cell phone cases. I could see having one decent sized item and then to the right of it, just tucked throughout the box, are like charging cables and cases.
Like you're saying, you could see like one air fryer,
and then the rest is just filled in with like cell phone cases.
I'm not sure the box is
and
big
a spatula, as I said yesterday.
I don't think we
Just
should.
a random spatula.
We actually should
just one
each,
spatula hanging out.
We should all bet $5 amongst us. We each get to list 3 items that's in the box, and whoever gets the most right.
In terms of like finances, I like the idea of there being just 35 fire sticks in there.
Well, yeah, there
I
won't.
mean,
That
it's
would be
way
great.
less interesting for the audience if it's
Oh, we
just
would make
35
money
fire
then.
sticks. But we're definitely making money because what are those, like 30, 50, $70 a piece, depending
Depends on which one. Yeah,
the quality?
Well, yeah, it just depends on the type. There's different versions of them.
I would like variety, though. I think it would make it a lot more fun.
How are we going to... Let's discuss real quick.
Do we know what items will not be in there? Like, it can't be any perishable stuff, right? Is
Correct.
that guaranteed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't be perishable.
Could it be diapers? We can actually make some money.
Oh, dude, diapers are expensive.
We can make some money.
I don't know.
we could.
I do kind of feel bad reselling those. I'll be honest. Diapers feel like a weird thing
You
to
just want to
resell.
give? Now you want to give away stuff?
It's not like they're used.
No, that's not
They're-
it. I just said I feel bad reselling it. That's all. I can't.
But you don't feel bad reselling anything else.
No, just the diapers thing.
Okay.
Well, that's different. You don't think that's different?
No, not at all. The whole point of this box is, yes,
To make money, yes.
to have fun, open it up and see what's in there, but also to not lose $250. That's the other part of it.
There could be homewares. There could be like plates, or there could be
If it's
Xbox controllers.
if it's just
or-
a bunch of plates, that's gonna suck. Can we just throw
Plates are
If they're
heavy.
plates, can we just go outside and throw them against the wall? Can we? I'd rather do that. I'd rather just take,
hundreds of dollars
I'd rather
on
just
this
take
thing.
video. If they're plates, we're just gonna chuck them against the brick wall of the side of the building, and that's it. That's way more fun and entertaining.
This is what they list as things that may be in the box. Return items from a variety of categories, including, but not limited to, electronics, housewares, clothing, toys, beauty products.
Well, if we just get a bunch of clothes,
Clothes, again, heavy. Now I'm starting to get concerned about the weight of the box. That could easily be plates, clothes. Fire sticks don't weigh that much.
it's just gonna. So you think
Electronics.
So now
are
you
kinda
think we're gonna
light.
get some
Yeah.
kitchen plates, and we're gonna get random like like a Hanes undershirts and like a couple bras in there, and that's what we're gonna get.
Oh boy, that would be much harder for this show to sell. I can't imagine you coming on the air and being like,
You
"Looks
guys
like
can sell the bras back to your wives. There you go.
we could sell them back." Oh,
Make the show
God.
some money, please.
Yeah, we'll try our best. By the way, on the text line 913, they're talking about the stadium still. It's like, might as well call them the Nashville Royals.
That's
That
not
is
happening.
never gonna happen.
Not with this current discussion and with this ownership group. It's not.
I mean, you can be
The
frustrated.
worry is if everything were to really fall apart and nobody could come with any sort of agreement, that down the road there would be the thought of selling to another ownership group that wouldn't want to keep the team here. But no, that's the beautiful thing that we have with how close the state line is. You can choose. You got Jackson County, you got Clay County, and then worst case scenario, you have the Kansas side, right? And you can go over there. That applies to the Chiefs and the Royals.
Yes, but they're not. I mean, again, Kansas side, yeah, realistic. Nashville, not realistic. I just don't see a way in which.
Not worried about them moving out of the area.
No,
not at all.
I'm never gonna be.
Not right now. I'm not. Coming up next, though, we'll get into some Chiefs and how tonight's game in Baltimore has a serious impact on the number 1 seed and who could actually be getting a long-term contract. There's a new report out for the Chiefs. We'll tell you who next.
Chiefs fans, it's Scott Moore. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Will you be ready? Business owners, do you know the ABCs of fire extinguishers in case of a fire? An ABC fire extinguisher is for small fires burning things that turn to ash. Flames involving liquids you could carry in a barrel, and the contents don't conduct current, so you can spray electrical outlets, equipment, and wiring without danger. Call Keller Fire and Safety. Keller will make sure your business has the right equipment, in the right places, and the right service to keep you safe and keep the fire marshal happy. Keller Fire and Safety. KellerFire.com.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than now. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options that include the spreads, player props, over-under, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame moneyline wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
It's touchdown Kansas City when you sell your home to RexBuysKC.com. I am Mitch Holtz, voice of the Chiefs, and no company pays more than Rex, with instant cash offers and your money in as little as 7 days.
That's right, Mitch. I'm Rex, owner of RexBuysKC.com, your locally owned home buyer. We'll buy any house regardless of condition. Distressed or damaged homes, it doesn't matter. Call us now at 816-330-6000 for the best offer and instant cash.
Score a touchdown, Kansas City with Rex, and get a fair, honest deal. Facing divorce, bankruptcy, thousands in repair bills, needing to move fast, being foreclosed, or just wanting cash fast? Then contact Rex now to get your money in as little as 7 days.
We help homeowners solve their problems with options on how they can sell their home. We have no fees, no closing costs, no commissions, no open houses. We buy your house as is.
Sell your home today, worry and hassle-free, no matter what the condition, and get your money in as little as 7 days.
Call us right now at 816-330-6000 or go online to RexBuysKC.com and let us buy your home today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Football and basketball seasons are in full gear, and BetQL is ready to help you win more consistently this year. BetQL is an absolute game changer if you're looking to find trends to help you win. Make smarter bets on spreads, totals, player props, and more. BetQL has already helped over 300,000 people with powerful analytics and community insights. Don't fumble the ball at the goal line or airball any free throws this season. Visit BetQL.com for their free daily analysis today. That's BetQL.com.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit GetJim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
With a smile at Andy's, top your day. With a smile at Andy's, top your day.
I love s'mores, so I made our new Andy's Frozen Custard S'mores Jackhammer just for fall.
Back here on Cody and Gold, we'll definitely talk more Chiefsaholic documentary later on in the show.
I've already watched the trailer.
I watched it like 3 times. Too many times. Can't wait for Monday.
Is it really too many times?
For the trailer, yeah. It's just pretty funny. It's just it caught us off guard today.
Text line is not optimistic we got anything good in that box, by the way.
Well, neither am I.
Someone says
there's a very good chance it's a bunch of junk, Cody.
It was filled with can koozies, arrow tips for hunting.
Yeah, there's a good chance it's a lot of junk.
Pre-wrapped plasticware sets.
Mm-hmm. We'll find out tomorrow during Club 610. We're also about 25 minutes away from having Dane Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, part of the Chiefs radio network, join us. He'll, of course, be part of the broadcast Monday night at Arrowhead. Tonight, though, huge primetime game. Finally, a really good Thursday night matchup. Ravens, Bengals. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites in Baltimore. Cincinnati coming off a loss. Baltimore coming off a loss. Something's got to give here for one of these teams. And we know there's no T. Higgins on Cincinnati's side. It has a big impact for the Chiefs, right? Number 1 seed. There's a chance before the Chiefs even have to step foot on the field Monday night, they could have an even bigger lead now and for the number 1 seed if Baltimore were to go down. But I'm rooting for the Ravens tonight. Sorry, Drew. I am rooting for the Ravens tonight because
to
me, you can bury Cincinnati if you're Baltimore. One, you can end any chance of Cincinnati winning the North. So that automatically gets rid of any possibility, in my opinion, of them winning the North. Then you're talking about them being in a wild card chase and hunt. And it also, to me, would tell us, okay, Cincinnati got hot for a couple weeks. Well, now they've won 2 in a row, so we could all relax and back off and I was on the train, too, that, here comes Cincinnati. There's just major ramifications if you could keep Joe Burrow out of the postseason. So I'm rooting for the Ravens to win tonight against Cincinnati. And if you're a Chiefs fan, I know you're looking at the 1 seed and you're saying, hey, if Cincinnati beats the Ravens, it helps for the 1 seed right now.
It does.
That's true. But I think the Chiefs are going to be able to handle their own business on Monday night anyway, to where the number 1 seed with the Ravens isn't going to change this week.
I think it becomes difficult to care about the 1 seed now more than burying Cincinnati. That has greater value, right? Like, let's be honest. It means more gold to just eliminate a threat for a little bit. And does it eliminate them forever? No, it doesn't. They'll still be a problem. They'll still be available. They can still come get you in the postseason. They would suck as a 6, 5, 6, 7 seed or whatever, where you might have to face them in the first round. Not fun. I get it. But that significantly decreases their chances of making the postseason. And honestly, more than even that, I don't want them getting their groove back. They were playing really good football. They lost to the Texans. If they just go right, they're going to forget all about that, and they will have won 4 out of 5 games or 5 out of 6, and they would have beaten the best team in the division, one of the best teams in the AFC, one of the best teams in the NFL. And to me, that could snap them right back into okay, we're good. Problem solved. Don't care about anything going on with your worlds anymore. We're fine here. That's what I don't like about it, Gold. It concerns me that they would just so quickly sort through it that we would just be we let the Bengals right back in this stupid
I hope Joe Burrow's healthy. You know, there was a video that they put out, and they deleted Drew today.
Yeah, that was
There was
weird.
a video, there was some
there?
sort of brace on the right wrist or something of Joe Burrow, and then they quickly deleted the video. Now, I'm not saying he's not playing tonight. He's going to play tonight, but either something's more serious or your Cincinnati Bengals are pulling an Arthur Smith like he did with the Falcons and lying about the injury report.
That would be totally new because that did not happen. There's nothing in the game with his wrist. That had to have been a practice thing if it did happen. Or maybe it's a new article of fashion Joe wanted to wear. I don't know.
Fashion?
Shady behavior by the Cincinnati Bengals to not list the quarterback on the injury report when he clearly had a brace, and then they deleted the video that made him look even more guilty.
That's the part that makes
how
it
this
look
works.
worse. You deleting the video.
Yeah, that was definitely
How confident
great.
are you in your Bengals tonight? Because I
I'm
like the
confident.
Ravens. I like the Ravens to cover tonight too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
I'm confident.
Put some money on it. Why don't you guys put a little cash?
No, Cody, as I said before the show, this is regardless. This is regardless of. I do not put money on the Bengals anymore because I
that's
do.
smart. Yeah, they're
and
5
always-
wins in.
there's too much emotion involved.
A lot of
Can't do
losses.
it.
What are they? I don't know what they got to be one of the worst teams at covering the spread this year because they probably didn't cover one for like a month straight.
Yeah, it probably took them a little bit. I'm not going to be putting any money on the Bengals. No.
Cincinnati 4-4-1 against the spread this year.
Oh, it's actually better than I thought.
Chiefs are 6-3 against the spread this year. Baltimore.
Those 4 coming in
is
during the win
6-4
streak, probably.
against the spread. Detroit, best team against the spread this year. 7-2.
Detroit?
Yep, against the spread.
Well, hit the first one. Or
Philly,
there.
who the Chiefs are playing, are 5-2-2 against the spread.
So also pretty good against the spread.
Turns out, good
which
teams.
we'll get into that. No, this matters a lot because it's going to. I do think that this will sway my opinion one way or the other. It will be. I'll get out of this game and either tomorrow I'll be like, all right, Cincy's fine. Whatever we were trying to bury him for, and I know they had a weird game against. They're fine. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. They are a problem if you face them in the postseason. End of story. If the Ravens go on to win, even though Cincinnati might be shorthanded, they get to just firmly secure their place. Browns just lost their starting quarterback. The Pittsburghs can't score a damn point. And Cincinnati will then lose to them again for the second time. So they'll be the second team in the NFL this year to lock up their division as done. Well, third, because Philadelphia pretty much locked theirs up as soon as they beat Dallas, in my opinion. But they'll be done. All right, great. They're a team. They're a serious contender for the 1 seed. I feel like that's how I'm going to feel coming out of this game. I don't want to make more of one game. But this is the kind of game where you could actually do that, right, Gold?
Yeah, look, for me, Baltimore is still clearly the better team in this game tonight. And when we're looking at potential playoff matchups down the road, and I know once we get to the playoffs, people are wondering, can Lamar Jackson win multiple playoff games? Because that's still the question that's out there, right? He finally got the one playoff win. Can he string multiple playoff wins together? But looking at him, like he has looked like an MVP at times. That defense, despite having injuries, has been one of the better defensive units. They're actually very similar to Kansas City. Their offense seemingly has come along a little bit further recently, but they're very similar to Kansas City in terms of what that defense has done, and then at times their offense has been, kind of fluttering a little bit. So I think for tonight's game, like one of the areas I'll be curious to see is, does Tyler Boyd once again step up without T. Higgins? He had like over 100 yards and 8 catches last time out without T. Higgins. Can he do that again against Baltimore? I think this is going to be a high-scoring game tonight. Normally, these Thursday night games have been low-scoring, going under, like 70% of the time. I think there's more points scored tonight than people think.
More on the injury report, too. Left tackle Ronnie Stanley for the Ravens is out, and Marlon Humphrey is doubtful for the game. So the Ravens have they already had those injuries before, obviously, with J.K. Dobbins and all that, but they've got some more tonight, too. Both teams a little bit beaten up.
I'm fascinated to see which way it ends because it will have an impact on the Chiefs one way or the other. But I do think as Chiefs fans, we got asked that yesterday. We should all agree that you're rooting for the Ravens. Worry about the 1 seed later. There are 8-9 games left in the season, depending on who the hell you are. That's more than enough time to sort through that problem for a team you don't even face. Get Cincinnati further from the postseason. You'd much rather them not be in the postseason. Like, if how about this? Given the choice, Gold. Chiefs are the 2 seed, and the Ravens are the 1. Or the Chiefs are the 1 seed and the Cincinnati Bengals are out of the postseason. Like if the Ravens are the 1 seed, but the Bengals are out of the postseason, or the Chiefs are the 1 seed, but Cincy's in. You get a choice right now.
No, I still want the 1 seed.
You'd still take the 1?
I think you can get both, though. You can get both. The Chiefs are going to handle their business. So on Monday night against Philadelphia. So I would rather, again, knock down the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm taking the 1 seed. We've had numerous conversations about the value of the number 1 seed. It's one less game to get to the Super Bowl. It's pretty simple. All of a sudden, you win the divisional round and you are in the AFC title game. That just like that. So, no, I'm always taking the number one seed over anything. I'm just saying this isn't the last week of the season where we're saying, hey, you need Baltimore to lose or you don't get it. No, as you said, there's 8 games to go. The Chiefs, I think, are just going to handle their business. They already have a game up on Baltimore. I think they both win this week.
Find out tonight.
Big reason for the Chiefs. The big reason for the Chiefs' success defensively and how they fared against number 1 wide receivers. They're going to go up against another one in A.J. Brown, who's been impressive, has been L'Jarius Sneed. As much as it's been Trent McDuffie, it's been L'Jarius Sneed. And I saw Jeremy Fowler went through each team in the NFL and listed out some guys he thinks could get some extensions. And one that he said is already having preliminary talks with his team is L'Jarius Sneed. You and I just had a conversation about this a couple weeks ago on the show. Before the season, I think a lot of people said, this will be his last year in Kansas City. They don't pay corners. They don't do that. But he's having a great year. I think he's more valuable in Kansas City. I think he's an incredible weapon for Steve Spagnuolo. He's been awesome for this unit. And there's a report now that suggests that maybe the Chiefs are in agreement with that maybe he could be the first corner that they pay. Because remember, the McDuffie, they're not going to have to pay for 3 more years. No. So you could pay Sneed now.
And McDuffie later.
By the time you got to pay McDuffie, Sneed will be older, and you'll probably walk 3-4 years from now.
I don't think this makes sense for a variety of reasons. And I feel like this is the inevitable thing that we were talking about, Gold, when the Chris Jones thing did get done. We said, hey, Sneed kind of gets screwed in this scenario because Sneed cannot get a deal done until they know what they're doing with Chris Jones. We can talk about the Chris Jones impact of this, but if they're talking about a deal with L'Jarius Sneed, I think that definitely says something about Chris Jones' deal or the potential of a Chris Jones deal, which you and I already thought, Gold, wasn't going to happen, in fairness, this offseason now. But this makes perfect sense. It is the strength of your defense. To me, a defense needs an identity. You might lose Chris Jones. He's their best player on defense. I still think that. But with Trent McDuffie being an emerging best corner in the NFL, with L'Jarius Sneed being one of the best cover guys in the NFL, I think when you put those guys together, that is your identity. We have the meanest secondary in the league. We'll make it harder. We'll get sacks because of it. I told you already, I think some of the sack numbers are because of the secondary. I like the idea of keeping L'Jarius Sneed around. I'll be honest, injuries does concern me a little because it seems like he's always dinged up a little bit. He plays, but it always seems like, that knee's ailing him.
So that was the conversation before the season and why I was saying this might be his last season in Kansas City, was the worry that the knee issue would linger. It hasn't, though. To his credit, here we are, knock on wood, heading into Thanksgiving week. A week from today is Thanksgiving, and he's been healthy all year.
Yeah.
So that has reassured me a little bit about that concern with the injury
just
history
him being physically
that he's
available.
had. But they have 2 of the best corners in football, and I know the track record has been not paying corners and just developing.
But they absolutely been the track record.
But if you think about it, how many of the corners would you have liked them to have paid? Ward's the only answer, and I don't think everybody was all bent out of shape when they didn't pay Ward. And Ward's a very good corner doing a great job out in San Francisco for the 49ers right now. But there hasn't been, let's not act like there's been a ton of corners you're like, man, they're just passing up paying for all these corners. Really hasn't. Ward's the only one. So if I could have Sneed and McDuffie at least for another 3 years together and then fill in the back end with rookies and young players that you develop, that's a hell of a way to have your secondary back, and I think that's likely where we're headed.
What do you think the price tag is on him? I mean, let's
look at the Ward deal and go down from there. Start from there, maybe go down from there.
Because that will also, I'll admit, that will also impact my decision making on this, as I think it should.
So Ward was 3 for 40 with 18 guaranteed at signing, 26 in total guarantees. That was a deal 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
or a year ago, but 2 off seasons ago.
Yeah, that feels right. I mean, if that's the price tag, what's the harm? Gold, to the point that we've made here, which is you can afford it. I mean, you're not paying Chris Jones yet. You're not paying many of your stars yet. I understand this notion that is, at some point you're going to have to pay Creed Humphrey, pay Nick Bolton, make these decisions. But they're not there yet, and they're not all getting paid at the same time because of Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis will be a little bit later on in the show. So I guess at this point I'd be kind of surprised if the Chiefs didn't kind of get a deal done with him. But I still think it's going to be, here's what I like about it. Gold, it is infinitely cheaper if they can just get it done now, right? It's so much cheaper if they can just get it done now. So they should work on it as hard as they can now. because it's never going to be cheaper than because you and I both know the second they hit free agency, we're done here, right? That's it. That's the end of the road, and we're not having a conversation anymore about them being able to reasonably afford the player. Not a 0% chance, but you and I both know how much that decreases the second that they hit free agency. It's the same conversation we have with Chris Jones. Do you, like me, think that this means if they got a deal done with him, we're done with Chris? Or I guess you're just already there, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I assume he's not on the team next year. Yeah, I mean, the minute they didn't get a long-term deal done before the season, I said, that's it.
Yeah.
Hope he has a great final year in Kansas City, but goodbye at the end of the year. Yeah, I kind of assumed that.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I was just curious.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that they will have to clearly address the defensive line in the offseason. Maybe all of a sudden Mike Dan is back in play on a deal, or you go elsewhere, continue through the draft. But, yeah, no,
what's Dan going to get paid
I've
now?
assumed Chris Jones will have his final year in Kansas City. Hopefully it ends with another championship. But, yeah, this, I think, is it.
I mean, at this point, I'm curious what Dana gets, at least on this end. The only other argument defensively is their identity is linebacker, and who's paying multiple linebackers, right? Like, honestly. Who builds their defense that way? No one builds their defense with, what if we just had a whole bunch of linebackers? I like Nick Bolton. I like Willie Gay. Drew Tranquil's been great for this team. I'm not even saying it hasn't been an identity of this team's defense. It obviously has. It's been a valuable part of this team's defense, but it's also just not the way I'm building a team. I can build it in the secondary because pass rushers are both expensive and hard to get at the end of the first round. Corners, the other argument is they're good at finding corners. Do they need to pay one ever? If every year they're just going to take another.
Yeah, but
Jalen
if you're never,
Watson,
if you're not
Joshua
going to pay
Williams.
Snead or McDuffie, then who the hell are you ever going to pay?
Yeah,
in the secondary. I mean, at some point we can praise them for developing corners, but when you have them, you have to eventually keep one of them.
Yeah, you do.
And I think they can keep both. The way that the years are aligned, and McDuffie will eventually pick up his fifth-year option, so they've got multiple years still on the rookie deal. You could take care of Snead. And then by the time Snead's deal is up, that's when you got to pay McDuffie. And at that point, Snead will be old enough. You'll let him walk, and hopefully you have another young player that you're developing at that point in time. Not saying he'll be L'Jarius Snead, but somebody that you can have a stopgap for at the very least. Coming up in about 12 minutes, we'll talk with Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. So the Chiefs continue to just be on top of everything. You know, we know the Taylor Swift stuff is going on. We know the parents are going to meet each other for the first time in the Chiefs suite there at Arrowhead. And it's a huge deal, right? And then you look on iTunes. I don't know if you checked the iTunes charts today. Guess who has the number one single?
Of course.
On iTunes right now? The Kelceys.
Uh-huh.
And it's a Christmas album for charity, so they're doing it for a great cause. So that's fantastic. I'm assuming the Swifties are behind this, right?
Absolutely they are behind this. There's no question at all that that's the case.
So it's a fairy tale of Philadelphia, and I think it's like there's 10 songs in the album.
Yes.
But Travis is on one of the tracks.
Yes, he's on the Fairy Tale of Philadelphia song specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing. I don't want this to come off. Actually I do.
Oh boy.
I've never been more jealous of a human in my life. I think it's kind of genuinely unfair that someone could be more rich than you, more handsome, better athlete, and then in addition to that, also somehow, Gold, even though he claims to have zero musical talent, also be a better singer.
Got cars, big as bars, they got rivers of gold. The wind goes right through you, no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broad Street was waiting for me. You were handsome, you were pretty, you're the king of South Philly. When the band finished playing, they howled out for more. The leathers were swinging, all the joints they were singing. We fought on a corner, then danced through the night.
He can do everything.
Oh, man.
No, I don't.
Incredible.
That
is really good.
Were you trying to put yourself as the bar that he had to reach for singing? Because that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot about yourself a little bit. I hear you on the argument that, like, man, he can do everything. But were you trying to say for a second that he's a better singer than you, as if this was an extremely high bar to clear?
I'm not saying it's an incredibly high bar to clear. When put in a more professional studio sounding setup,
Wait.
I can be
Excuses.
mediocre.
Excuses.
I didn't expect him to be good.
Well,
I thought he'd be bad at it.
I figure he's just good at
Instead,
everything.
he's great.
He's good at everything. But hold on, now you're saying it's because he had better studio quality than you? Didn't you go to a private studio to record?
And that was one of my better songs. What are you talking about?
We're going to give you some studio
And by the
time,
way,
Cody.
Private studio's a little bit of a stretch. I recorded it
now
in
you're
a
gonna
guy's
badmouth
basement.
this. Now
okay?
you're gonna badmouth this guy's
All right,
professional studio.
We can relax a little bit.
I'm just saying.
How much
of
is
course it was good. I'm just shocked that it's the number one song on iTunes. That actually
This was the only, I guess, semi-professional recording I've ever done.
Cause there's a hunger, a need to pancake from the line he lives without a mistake.
All right, stop. It's now just become, Cody, it runs back to just Cody wants to talk about himself singing. That's what it's come back to all of a sudden.
Honestly.
Can I go back to hearing Travis Kelce sing for a second?
Is this the full song? This might be Jason.
They've got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold. But the wind goes right through you, no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broad Street was waiting for me. You were handsome, you were pretty, you're the king of South Philly. When the band finished playing, they howled out for more. The leathers were swinging, all the joints they were singing. We fought on a corner, then danced through the night. The sound of the silver ages choir
It's so good.
singing.
It's so
They
good.
sound so when they both come in together.
I'm not-
It sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not hating on it at all. It's incredible.
Very good.
The fact that it's the number one
Very
song
good.
on iTunes is incredible. I'm jealous. That's the truth. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of how good Travis is at this, even though I don't think he spent a single day of his life thinking about music at all.
He's got it down. He's got it all, man. He's got everything. He's got the girl. He's got the money. He's got the looks. He's got the vocals. He's got obviously the talent on the field. He's got everything.
What a moment for them. Number one. It's insane. You know what else I didn't mention? I already said more handsome, more rich, better singer. He's also better at radio than me. He's better at podcasting.
Number one podcast.
It's ridiculous.
Number one podcast.
He's got a far more popular, and that's what I went to school for. Like, I didn't go to school for singing. All right, fine. Whatever. He was always going to be better athlete, more handsome, and more rich. But he's also better at my job, my current active job, the thing I do for a living. This is an unfair setup. All I'm saying is that I think that we should spread this around a little bit so that one person doesn't get to be the best at everything.
Life's not fair, man.
You're taking this stuff personally.
He
Cody.
is.
I mean,
Very, very
It just
personal.
It just hurts. It hurts
you're
to know when-
addicted to everything Travis Kelce now, and it's just overwhelming you.
Someone says, Cody, I'm sure you're better at giving people food poisoning.
The Chipino.
Man.
I'm just assuming at this point Travis Kelce's making the entire family Thanksgiving and probably makes the best turkey around. Assuming he can cook. Do everything.
He's out in the backyard chopping up wood for the fireplace. I mean, he's done
God,
everything.
I gotta hope I'm a better cook. That's all I got.
I doubt it.
What else?
I doubt it.
I've never seen him cook anything.
I bet you he's good.
Should have a competition,
You don't even think I got that?
a cook-off.
Travis Kelce and I once emceed a cake judging contest together. I mean, he didn't even choose the cake I liked.
Come out with a line of frozen foods and some frozen barbecue, and then we'll compare.
We tried to
tried
get
it. It was sold out at the time we tried to buy it.
We did try.
Oh, man.
So there you go. Check it out on iTunes.
Someone says, Cody, you worked your whole life for this, and Kelce does music and a podcast in a year and is instantly better than you. That's it. That's what it comes down to. He spent 1 year working on the things I spent my entire life on, and he's better at both. Like, I couldn't spend the next year working on football and get better than Travis Kelce. That's impossible. Can't even get to be 0.00001%.
But Drew said he could have multiple catches in an NFL game yesterday. So there you go.
Yeah, no, again, I talked to my wife about this, and she said, I think you could.
Well, that's good. Your wife's supportive. That's really nice.
I mean, come on. I actually like that. That's good things about your relationship.
That's very nice.
You give me a zone defense and Patrick Mahomes or whoever at quarterback, it doesn't matter, competent, any of the top 5 guys, I can get you 2 catches for 14 yards.
Well, we're going to ask that question to Danon Hughes. He played in the league as
He's
a wide
gonna laugh
receiver.
you.
I'm going to tell him, Drew, that you think you could get 2 catches for 14. Let's get Danon's
Line me
response
up.
to that. Coming up next.
All right.
There's Kelce to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about Dandy and the Wedding Man. Why rent a suit or tux when you could buy one from Dan Dan? Only $250 gets you a custom tailored suit or tux. And as always, Dan Dan has free alterations for life. It's the day your partner will remember for a lifetime, and it's a suit you can use for a lifetime. Best day, best look with Dan Dan the Wedding Man at 97th and Quivira. Online at dandantheweddingman.com or call 541-1192.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-935-7144. 800-935-7144. 800-935-7144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Join Yingling and Johnny's Tavern this November to support Loggers for Heroes. Join Johnny's Tavern to give back to local KC vets and register to win a Yingling prize pack, including a tailgate couch, large wooden Yingling bar sign, tickets to the Chiefs Christmas game, and so much more. Yingling, America's oldest brewery, is proud and thankful for Kansas City's servicemen and women. Visit any of your local Johnny's Taverns in the KC Metro to enter to win. This contest is powered by our friends at Yingling and 610 Sports.
We have James and Josiah from American Topsoil. Guys, what month is best for planting new grass?
Any month that ends in R. Laying down fresh soil before seeding is the best way to get ahead of the game. Our rich topsoil is great for leveling yards, and our pulverized soil creates a perfect seed bed for new grass.
So how do I know how much soil I need?
Our Power Wheelbarrow service assures that our customers are getting the exact amount of soil they need, exactly where they need it, and that's all they'll pay for.
How can I set up my delivery with American Topsoil?
Visit AmericanTopsoil.com or give us a call at 913-888-SOIL.
American Topsoil, family owned and operated with more than 30 years, delivering great topsoil with their hassle-free Power Wheelbarrow service. Call 913-888-SOIL. That's 913-888-SOIL. Or online at AmericanTopsoil.com. Great topsoil, great service, American Topsoil.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up, and if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333. Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up, and if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Hey, have you ever been ripped off? It sucks. Having a daily reminder of it is even worse.
If you shave with a well-known big razor brand every morning, you might be thinking more about how much you paid for the blades than about how smooth your shave is. I'm Andy, the founder of Harry's. We give you a high-quality shave and an expertly engineered product for a fraction of the price that the big guys charge, with no compromises. They have 5 blades, Harry's has 5 blades. They have a lubricating strip, Harry's has a lubricating strip for extra glide. They have a trimmer blade, Harry's has a trimmer blade for the hard-to-reach areas. They charge up to $4 per blade. Our German-engineered blades cost as little as $2. Big brands charge higher prices because they can. Harry's keeps you in mind, focusing on high quality at a fair price. So stop rinsing cash down the drain every morning. Get a great shave for a fraction of the price with Harry's. Get a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/kickoff. That's harrys.com/kickoff.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Creed Humphrey, and you're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
11 o'clock hour, it is Cody and Gold. Reminder coming up at 11:45, we're going to head out to Arrowhead. You're going to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Chris Jones, plus give you a chance to win the prize pack from Yingling and Johnny's Tavern. Be listening for that bell, that sounder, coming up in about an hour from now. But let's go out to the 610 hotline and welcome in Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Of course, you'll hear him on the call Monday night for the Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and the Eagles. Before we get to that, Danon, I have to ask you a question. You're the perfect individual for this because our producer, Drew, we were somehow yesterday discussing wide receivers.
Tony's production, 2 catches for 14 yards is his average.
Yeah, Tony's averaging 2 catches for 14 yards. And Cody asked the question whether or not one of us could do that, and I said, hell no. And Drew, of course, stepped right up and said, oh, yeah.
Give me a zone.
2 catches, 14 yards, I can do it. I said, absolutely not. You're out of your mind. So what's your response to that?
1,000% out of his mind.
Yeah.
Come on. And I don't know which one is more of a stretch, the 2 catches or the 14 yards, because I don't think he would get either of those in an NFL game. I think this is just another example, guys, of slow motion, the instant replay, the constant barrage of videos that we see at different motions and different speeds, making people falsely believe that they could actually go on an NFL field and produce. The game is significantly faster than what you think you're seeing in real time. I don't care about the segments with the telestrator and the drawing the lines and the space that you think you see. It is literally faster, extremely faster than what your eyes are deceiving you to believe. So, yeah, you're way out of the park in believing that you could catch 2 passes, never mind it be for 14 yards.
I thought the only advantage he might have, Danon, is they straight up just might not cover him. Like, screw this. We're just not going to put anybody on him. We're just going to double somebody else because even if the ball goes his way, we're going to be to him in about a half a second or he's going to drop it.
Yeah, I remember the story, and I had been a veteran in the league as a wide receiver, and not many people realize that Ronnie Lott's last stint in the NFL was with the Chiefs. He came and he was I want to say it was either 97 or 98, where he came he was a free agent signee with the Chiefs in the preseason, and we're practicing up in River Falls, and I run a slant route, and even at that age, which he had to be pushing 40, around that time, he flew by me, spared my life, flew right by me. I still caught the ball, finished the play. It was practice. He took mercy on me. And as I went back to the huddle, he was like, hey, I could have put you down there, and make sure your quarterback knows not to hang you out like that in a real game. And it was just the reality of, I played in the league 5 years. That was my 6th year going into. I knew about the speed of the game, but it was just maybe I had taken my eye off the prize, I guess, in regards to recognizing that he still had the speed in the game. And so that was kind of a reality check that you never take anybody for granted. I kind of feel like that would be the case for Drew, where somebody, Justin Reed or somebody, would just fly right by him, maybe let him catch the ball, just scare the crap out of him, because other than that, he would not probably catch a pass.
Yeah, I mean, the topic came about because of Kadarius Toney. 2 catches for 14 yards. That's what he's averaging. We heard Andy Reid's comments earlier this week talking about him, staying healthy and remembering that he's coming off a knee injury. Look, I get that. I think before the season, Danon, if I would have said, hey, he's going to play 15 games, we all would have said, man, he's going to have like 900 yards this year. Well, he might play 15 games this year, but if he's not producing or getting playing time, like that's not doing anything for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a question that has not been answered yet. And I even take myself back into the preseason. Yeah, he had a great Super Bowl. He was a catalyst in us getting another ring. But the questions that I brought up after the Super Bowl still remain unanswered. It's about the vertical game for our wide receivers. And it's nice, it's the bright, shiny coin when you're going east and west and you're running sideline to sideline passes, swing routes, bubble screens, jet sweeps, all of those things. That's great. And they work to some extent. But to me, the true testament of a viable receiver, especially in this offense and a dangerous threat for Patrick Mahomes, is the vertical game. How do you run your hooks? How do you run your deep ends? How do you run your posts, your goes, your comebacks? How much separation? And most importantly, how many throws that come from Patrick Mahomes are easy throws because you've created enough separation that he can just toss the ball to you and you can make plays. He's had those opportunities, and I just haven't seen a consistent amount, in that realm to say that he could be a true number 2, number 3, or even number 4 receiver. Yeah, he's going to have his packages, and we're going to see those involved in the game where he lines up in the backfield, he runs jet sweeps, fakes jet sweeps, maybe backside screens, all of those things. But for me as a wide receiver in this offense specifically, if we're going to make another run to a Super Bowl, we need to see more consistent play vertically from not just him, but all the receivers.
So Peter King, he was on Carrington's show on The Drive, and he said that Andy Reid is still, at least to him, talking about Sky Moore as someone he really believes in. Like, put him in the same conversation as Rashee Rice. All these things you're talking about, let's just say off the ball. Maybe he's just not getting it. Do you see some of that with Sky Moore? I don't want to just write the guy off, Danon, but at some point, like we talked about with Toney, production has to be at play.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has to come in play. There's a lot of football left. I mean, we're just past the halfway point of the season. So we've seen how production can elevate for several guys in this offense over the past 6 years. So I don't doubt Andy Reid's confidence in Sky Moore. I think there's definitely an area of this offense that could work for Sky Moore, maybe more like we've seen some of the outs, the hook routes, kind of the routes that he's forced to stop and come back to the quarterback, maybe implementing him more on the shallow crosses and the crosses across the field would be better served for him, because he is definitely a threat when he catches the ball. It's just about getting him in the right positions to do so. But I don't know with the emergence of Rashee Rice, I don't know how much more you're going to give Sky Moore. Like, to me, at this point, when you look at this offense from a wide receiver standpoint, every time Rashee Rice is off the field, that's one less opportunity he has to make a big play, and he's been making the most big plays for this wide receiver crew. So you're going to have to balance that. That's what the great thing is about the bye week. I know it's about rest for players, but it's also about the self-scouting. And in talking with the coaches over the years, like, there's a lot that goes into the bye week and self-scouting, doing a self-inventory of teams, and all the analytics that come into play. Okay, well, when Sky Moore goes in motion, is he getting open? When Sky Moore lines up on the slot, when he lines up outside the numbers, how often is he getting separation? How often are we throwing him the ball? Does Patrick have confidence in him in certain circumstances? All of that is logged in. So now when the guys come back from their break, and they've been back from their break, but when they got back from their break, there's a game plan. If it's not posed directly to each player, like a job review, there's a game plan that is calculated based on that information. So this will be the first time that maybe we'll see some things corrected to put guys in better situations instead of what we saw in the first 9 weeks.
We're talking to Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Of course, you'll hear him on the call Monday night for the Chiefs radio network. And Monday night, it's Chiefs-Eagles. It's the Super Bowl rematch. And one thing you remember that whole week leading into the game, everybody was talking about was that defensive front for Philadelphia and how the Chiefs were going to be able to stop that defensive front that, had 100 sacks since the start of last season. That's the most in the NFL. And the Chiefs have allowed actually 38 sacks, which is tied for the fewest. And we know the Chiefs didn't give up a single sack in the Super Bowl. How different is that for this game? Because that was like the talking point heading into the Super Bowl game.
Well, I think it's a huge talking point because if we remember from the Super Bowl, especially the aftermath, what did we hear? Oh, the field was the reason.
Everyone's complaining about the field, yeah.
Yeah, we got pressure in Jalen Hurts' face, and we were on the same field as far as I remember. So I think the front seven for the Eagles, if they truly believe that, they're going to come out like gangbusters in this game to prove that was just an anomaly, that it was true, and we can get consistent pressure in the face of Patrick Mahomes. They're also coming off a bye week, so the same things I just mentioned about the self-scouting and the self-inventory, they actually have had an opportunity to do so as well right before this game. So this is more like the Super Bowl than anything else that I've seen in a while, where you have both teams coming off a bye week, just like you would have prior to the Super Bowl, and be able to put their best foot forward against each other. They got the emotion. There's nothing like losing that big game. I lost in the AFC Championship and couldn't wait to play the Buffalo Bills again. And so I believe that the emotional aspect of the game, they will be at a height for the Eagles that they probably haven't played on since that Super Bowl. But like, we've seen the best punches. We've seen the haymakers from other teams. We know that we're going to receive a Super Bowl effort from every team we play, not just the Eagles. And we'll see if we're up to the challenge. I don't see it any differently than the Miami Dolphins, and hopefully we can step up and win just like we did then.
Dane, in the game tonight, Ravens-Bengals has an impact on the Chiefs for a variety of reasons, either since he kind of gets right back into the playoff picture and back into their division picture, or it gets a lot harder for them, but the Ravens are a much, tougher for the 1 seed. Who are you rooting for tonight as it relates to the Chiefs?
Never thought I'd say it, but I'm going to say the Ravens. I just have a higher disdain for the Bengals.
That's right, Drew. You hear that?
Our producer's a Bengals fan,
Oh, still.
No, it's fine.
Even keep going. Keep going.
For sure. I don't want any success to happen for the Bengals. I feel like they were probably the most disrespectful team to the success of the Chiefs. Burrowhead still, Burrow's in my head, and I just don't want any success to happen for them. I feel like they and the Bills, in many respects, believe that they've still been the best team in the AFC. They just happen to come up short. And what better way to kind of move past that chapter in this Chiefs history than to not even have to deal with them in the postseason again?
Yeah, smoking on a Joe Burrow, one of our favorite shirts that we had there. I think we got you one of those.
I got one. Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect. All right, Danon, appreciate it, man. We'll be listening. Players Only starts back up next week, right?
Yes, sir. We'll be back. Actually, next week is Thanksgiving, so we'll be back
there you go.
after that. So
that makes sense.
After that, we'll be on a consistent run through the rest of the season, so definitely tune in.
All right, man. Appreciate it. There you go. Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, will be listening on Monday night to the Chiefs radio network. Anytime we talk about Joe Burrow and Cincinnati, man, I got to think.
Him and Barber, man.
I love it.
You got a cigar on your own, I see.
Yeah, I'm smoking the Joe Burrow.
You smoking on the Joe Burrow?
I'm smoking on the Joe Burrow.
It's a great video. it's a great
Our
video.
guy Aaron Ladd, of course, asking the questions there. Yeah, man.
It's good. I love it.
You hear him respond to you about the wide receiver thing, right? Are you ready to? Do you admit that?
Will you let it go?
This guy,
he was a fringe NFL guy,
okay,
right?
He
was in
played
the league. But
the league for multiple years.
You guys think I'm dead serious when I say that? Yes, I can do that.
Oh, I think you were serious. I think you were serious before.
Seemed kind of.
I'm willing to bet you guys each $10 that if you put me in front of a jug machine, I would catch 5 out of 5 from 15 yards.
Ooh.
You might do that, but I still think you're dropping one.
Gloves or no gloves?
Gloves.
Yeah, he's got to have gloves on.
Hold on,
I'm not going to
know what I gotta know what bet I'm making.
If you want me to do 10 yards, 5 out of 5. I will bet you $10 each. I go 5 out of 5.
On the
jug machine.
You're talking as if you've caught from a jug machine recently, and you know that you've done it.
I have never caught from a jug machine in my life. I've caught plenty of footballs for getting thrown hard, but I've never caught from a jug machine before. I bet $10 I can go 5 for 5 with gloves.
No way. Wait, I mean, again, I don't know how fast.
And as a bonus, I will try one-handed.
One-handed?
You're not catching a one-handed pass.
I don't think he's getting the 5.
That's not a part of the bet. That's not part of the bet.
I thought you said you'll do
no. I said as a bonus. I said as a bonus.
That doesn't do me any good.
That's afterwards.
That doesn't do me any good. I thought you were saying out of one of the 5, you're going one-handed. I said, wow.
Can I, in an NFL game, get 2 for 14? Hell no. I'm
He's
totally
changed
kidding
his tune.
I'm totally kidding.
He's changed his tune.
Okay. Look, Danon hadn't figured it out. It's fine.
It took some enlightenment from a former wide receiver.
That's right. Hey, coming up in 5 minutes, we'll get to the trash of the day, and also still to come this hour, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, right around 11:45. So Major League Baseball, it's the offseason. Winter meeting's going to take place, and earlier today we talked about the Royal Stadium site situation. We'll get back into that. In the noon hour, we know one of the big wins for Rob Manfred this past year was the pitch clock, right? It was a
massive
huge success. Awesome success. We saw it in attendance numbers, TV ratings, even for bad teams. And it was just nice to, and it's one of those things that you didn't notice after a while. Like, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna notice this pitch clock. You didn't. And some people I saw were like, well, I had when I went to the restroom, I missed more time. Hey, that is what it is. Like,
that's a sporting event. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, if you have kids, which you do, Cody, and you're trying to go to a game, you can see more baseball where you're there with your kids than you could before, because you're probably not staying until 9:30.
I get to stay later in the game. Yeah, that's absolutely
so
fair.
Now Major League Baseball, are they going too far, though? They're trying to change it again. They want to cut off another 2 seconds. Like, I'm fine with it, but also, are they just trying to push the limit as much as possible
So
here?
I guess I don't know what this buys them. They got all of the massive victory, in my opinion, the second that they made the shift. They cut like a half hour off of these games, right? It's like, okay, big deal. They say, like, ratings were up. Attendance was up. Everything across the board was up for Major League Baseball. This was their single biggest rule change improvement for the sport since interleague play, right? This is his version of Bud Sieland's biggest move. And the wild card, right? Adding a wild card into baseball. But buying yourself 2 more seconds, you can do it. But that's not the next thing. Look, you solved the time issue. We got this bad boy down to 2.5. Cool.
It's great.
No problems. Buying yourself an extra 5 to 7 minutes per game, not what I'm interested in now. Now what I'm interested in is, how do you make starting pitching matter again, and how do you get the ball in play?
They're still doing that. They're still doing that. That's
but I'm saying that's where your
effort.
focus should be. The 2 seconds, does that really make a difference to you? The half hour did, Gold. Does the 3 minutes now, like whatever it's going to equate to, is that going to make... Is that going to drive you to the park?
On its own, no. But now all of a sudden you're telling me I'm saving 33 to 35 minutes. So if I would have told you a year ago that, hey, over the next 2 years, we're going to save 35 minutes off a game, you would have been like, wow, that's great.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna
so you couple them together. That's, I think, how you have to view it. Not that it's just like 2 minutes this go around or 3 minutes this go around.
You think I just say, I'll take the 35?
Think of it as the 35 minutes you're saving.
Okay, I mean, if it's that, then maybe I can entertain it. But again, I just think they got bigger things going on. Now they're obsessed with the time. You get to be you are the shortest sport outside of like college basketball now. And we all know how that sport ends. Or the NBA. You've convinced the other sports, Gold, to shorten too. The NFL, college football was like, okay, you know what? They might be onto something. We got these like 4.5 hour noon or like 11 o'clock games. We probably ought to like tighten this up a little bit. You've convinced the other sports to come along. You don't need to buy 5 minutes. You need to worry about the product on the field now, not the time it takes the product to play. To me, there's other sports who are going to have to deal with this first. College basketball is going to figure out how to tighten up their product, like from a speed perspective. How do we make this sport faster? The NFL, I think at times, has to figure out how do we make this product faster. Because you're finding out, I think especially this is a age demographic thing, that 3.5 hours is a long time to try to hold somebody's attention, Gold. And I think that's probably what baseball's figuring out with this 5 minutes. They're like, I don't know, 5 minutes, we'll take it.
Yeah, it was the best thing they've done in a while, and there's no reason they can't do multiple things at once. That's I don't take it as, man, they're too focused on the pitch clock taking 2 seconds off, it means they can't address other issues. I think they can do multiple things at once. We'll see what they do this offseason, but definitely thrilled with how things turned out a year ago.
All 32.
We'll get to all 32 in the noon hour, but let's get to the trash of the day real quick. And this has to do with
trash of the day.
Some airline travel. You're good. Some airline travel. A Boeing 747 cargo plane had to turn back around. Okay, so it's a cargo plane. It's not passengers. So think about that. Cargo planes, it could have all kinds of things on it. It could be our mystery box. It could be all sorts of things.
That mystery box took forever to get here. I don't know what it came on. Train, I guess.
But this had to do with a plane that was headed to Belgium, and it was forced to return back to New York City because a horse escaped from its crate in the cargo hold. The horse became loose within 30. Luckily, it was within 30 minutes of the plane's initial takeoff. Imagine if they're in the middle of the ocean. They're flying over the ocean, and
it's just a loose horse? I imagine freaking out.
So the air traffic control said, we have a live animal, horse, on board the airplane. We need to return back to New York. We cannot get the horse back secured. Flying the plane was not a problem. They requested a vet for the horse upon the plane's return. The pilot did not elaborate on possible injuries sustained to the horse. The plane also had to dump 20 tons of fuel into the Atlantic Ocean due to the weight of the plane because it was too heavy to land. Like they were thinking they were flying overseas. So they had to dump a lot of fuel.
Wait, just real quick. That doesn't seem environmentally
Well, of course it's not. But
great.
they had to do it. You can't land the plane if it's got too much weight.
What
are they supposed to do?
You just dump it into the ocean?
That's
what you do?
They had to burn off fuel. They didn't they had to dump off, they didn't literally pour gasoline in the ocean. Like they had to burn out fuel.
Okay.
They didn't dump gasoline in the
You're
ocean.
making it sound like this was like a Dave Matthews Band poop boat situation.
No.
They're just like pouring jet fuel directly on top of a fish.
I mean, am I 100% sure? No, but my assumption is you hear that like if a plane has to go back, they have to burn off fuel or whatever. I don't think they literally like. Could you imagine if that was in stateside? You think in your backyard they're just dumping 20 tons of fuel in your backyard?
At least it's on the bottom, and also, how do you quickly discover that? Are there alert sensors? Did somebody go downstairs to grab some extra OJ for first class, and they're like, "Oh God, there's a horse down here, guys. There's a horse loose. I don't know what." And they're like, we couldn't get it re-secured. I don't know how hard it would be to convince a horse to go back into its cage in the middle of a transatlantic flight.
Oh, here we go. Here's the answer to our question.
But I just can't imagine.
Here's the answer. Okay, so if the dumping of the fuel occurs at least 5,000 feet above the ground in freezing temperatures, 98% of the fuel evaporates before it ever reaches the ground.
Okay.
So they actually do dump it.
Had me worried.
But it evaporates, so yeah. There were fuel remaining in the drop. It could cause local rain, but it would be spread over a wide area, minimizing the effect at ground level. Yeah, they can't just be dumping like 20 tons of fuel wherever the hell they want.
The way you were talking about it, I know someone's said I didn't even realize you could take a horse on a trip with you. Me either.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have to transport horses somehow, right? If you're buying one from overseas or moving it to your new home overseas.
Well, how do you guys think they get some of these horses that run in the Kentucky Derby from Europe?
It just
How did you think they got over here?
my friend Sebastian texted me. He's like, "Why wouldn't you just tranquilize it?"
Like they'd have a vet on board.
Before it takes off on the flight, you don't make the animal go to sleep.
It still might have been a little subdued or whatever. But yeah, they literally dumped the fuel, just not in the way we thought they did.
Okay. Oh man, that would also be.
That sounds expensive, by the way.
Going on an overseas flight and then all of a sudden be like, "Hey, just real quick, we're going to be heading back."
No, it's a cargo plane. There's no passengers. It literally is the pilots.
Okay.
There's
at least there's that.
There's no passengers.
Could you imagine if there were people? Imagine if there were people and just all of a sudden you're like, we're going to have to turn back around. You're like, why? There's a horse loose. I don't know what to tell you. We're working on it.
Yeah. You got a lot of pilots texting in now. So
What's it cost to ship a horse?
A lot?
It feels like it's quite a bit if I'm just shipping a regular size box to someone. What's a horse cost to ship? Like $10K? How much money are we talking about?
It says, however, on average, hiring a licensed transport company will cost around 75 cents a mile. Overseas air will cost somewhere between $2,000 and $10,000 or more for a one-way flight.
Man.
Is this like FedEx? You saw the. Did you think of FedEx? Did you see the story last week? So they had to return the zoo in Washington D.C. had multiple pandas on loan from China or whatever. Okay. and they had to return them. It was just time, like the lease or whatever agreement had run up.
Do they call it a lease with an animal?
I have no idea, dude. What else would I call it? Anyway, agreement, lease. Anyway, FedEx came with these big trucks, and it had a panda on the side. It was a FedEx big truck, but it was FedEx that transported them back over to China. That's how you got. I mean, they got to fly them. They can't. I mean, that's how you do it.
Weirdest thing I ever delivered was a heart. So that's all I got. We never delivered a horse. Didn't have to pick up a panda. I don't even know how you start on that process. Oh man, that would be the worst. Having to turn a flight around because a horse got loose is also, I don't know. Could you just fly the rest of the way?
Well, no, they didn't want. What if the horse did decide to start going nuts? Then you had a problem. You're in the middle of the ocean, man. That's a problem. Then you're talking about a catastrophe.
I feel like a cargo ship should just have a trank gun on board. Like just one you could just fire off.
So you just think every cargo ship
moving forward,
it's an airplane, that they should have just a tranquilizer on board.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my stance. You don't think that that's a good stance, or no? What's the problem here? What's the issue? What's the issue with the trank gun?
All it takes is somebody that's upset with somebody else, and all.
You think a co-pilot situation?
You just don't need to have
trank dart in the co-pilots.
I
mean, but he could do that with anything. He could hit him with a book over the head.
Well, yeah.
Getting mad at one person on a cargo ship, the trank gun's not the thing that's going to get it done. They could do anything on there.
You don't want to help them out, though.
Strangle.
You don't want to make it easier for them.
Make it easier because they haven't? I mean, that's fair, but I mean, God, when you got live animals, it feels like you could just have one on hand.
Well, you saw the story recently. There was a pilot that was accused of trying to crash a plane.
No, I did not.
Fortunately, that's why there's multiple people in the.
Is that the KC Business Journal? I missed it.
No, this was in the New York Times.
Oh, I missed that story.
It was an Alaska Airlines flight. This was, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. He's obviously been charged with attempted murder of however many people were on the plane. Fortunately, it did not happen. But yeah, there you go. That's the trash of the day. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones. We'll also get back into the future of the Super Bowl and how it relates to the Chiefs.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Tune in to hear Andy Reid every Monday at noon, exclusively on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Butter is only $2.98 at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.98 is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for butter every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Kling. If there's one thing we know about this time of the year is that we love to tailgate, whether it's in the parking lot or at home, your one-stop shop should be Hy-Vee for all your party needs. Huge selection of official Chiefs gear, paper goods, and party supplies. Don't forget those Chiefs-themed cookies from the bakery. Take and bake pizzas, buffalo wings, grill-ready favorites, appetizer and party trays, chips and homemade dips like the buffalo chicken with the red and gold tortilla chips. And the Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits Department has your game day beverages. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Old Shawnee Pizza has expanded to the Crossroads with their OSP Express. Go to ospexp.com to order and use any third-party delivery system. Located in the Crossroads food stop at 16th and Campbell. Go to ospexp.com to order. Old Shawnee Pizza, now 3 locations.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready to start the NFL week off right, because right now all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay for Thursday Night Football. Just place a 3-leg same-game parlay on this week's game between the Bengals and Ravens, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular SGPs pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. Visit FanDuel.com/610Bob so you don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With Black Friday savings all month long at the Home Depot, you get all the jingle bells and whistles you could wish for with LG appliances. With America's most reliable line of appliances per independent consumer study, you can take holiday doing to holiday done and always be ready to handle last-minute holiday guests. Save up to $900 on select laundry sets with Black Friday savings, including top brands like LG at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Save on stuff you really need and stuff you bought for fun. Stuff you've always really wanted this holiday at Amazon. Stuff that is discounted if you're naughty or you're nice. Stuff to buy your grandma who drinks her Chardonnay with ice. Stuff to make you big and strong. Stuff we can't name in this song. Stuff for lawns and decking halls. Save big on stuff at Amazon. Stuff.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
A mix of sun and clouds, breezy and mild, and a high of 67.
Weather brought to you by Total Wine & More. With so many bottles to choose from, it's easy to find your favorite and new ones. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, always find what you love and love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling in Belton.
Score these hot winter deals from Comfort Systems. Receive up to $1,500 in rebates on a new Lennox Ultimate Comfort System or no payments, no interest for 6 months when financing a new Lennox system.
Comfort people is what we do. Comfort System is right for you.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Reminder, coming up about 10, 15 minutes or so, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones. You'll hear all of them right here on 610 Sports Radio. We'll talk Super Bowl rematch a little bit later, but we got news right before we hopped on the air today. That
Seconds. What, seconds before? You're pointing it out to me. Minutes?
Yeah, a couple minutes before the show, I think. That Chiefsaholic what I would assume will be the first of many, is going to have his own special, a little docuseries. It's going to be 40 minutes, and it's going to be on ESPN Plus. This Monday is the premiere of it. You'll get your first glimpse. Now, he's not in the documentary, right? It's called Werewolf, The Search for Chiefsaholic, and it has multiple people interviewed. The attorney will answer questions on his client's behalf. They submitted questions to Chiefsaholic, the reporter in this case, and they got written answers back, although did not comment on the case, just more about him and how he got caught up in that. And this is how the trailer sounds.
Describe Chiefsaholic to someone who's never heard of him.
He was honestly like the poster child for Chiefs fans.
It had a good look. People really were attracted to it.
I texted him. I was like, dude, you just put 80 racks on the Chiefs? And he's like, don't let that get out. I like to hustle in private.
Chiefsaholic is like on the run.
How dangerous do you think he is right now?
How dangerous is armed robbery? How dangerous is anybody who's alleged to have committed an armed robbery?
Allegedly, he entered the bank. We believe he jumped over the counter, had his face covered, a gun in a woman's chest, asked to be taken to the hundreds.
I believe that my client is innocent.
That he didn't commit any of these crimes that he's charged with.
I believe that my client is innocent until proven guilty.
So that's the trailer for Werewolf.
I mean, it looks kind of campy.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be great, but it's 40 minutes. It's must-watch for us. We've been talking about Chiefsaholic from the very beginning, from the day that the story came out that he allegedly robbed a bank in Bixby, Oklahoma. The police chief is in this documentary as well. They interviewed him, talking about the serious nature of the crimes. And, I can't wait for this one. I still think we'll end up with one on Netflix or HBO Max or something down the road as well. You're watching, right away?
Can you? Absolutely. I mean, I might wake up early, even though I'll have to stay up late to watch Monday Night Football. I might wake up early to watch it before the show. Shouldn't we be reacting to this on Monday? Or are we going to be a whole day late and react on Tuesday? I mean, that feels behind the times.
Depends on when they release it, man. It's on ESPN Plus. Some of you may already be subscribed. If not, you'll have to subscribe to check it out. Someone says, I hate to be this guy, but it's exactly why our society is messed up. We should not be glorifying this stuff. I don't even 100% disagree, but by that logic, then we shouldn't have theoretically like Dateline shows. We shouldn't have any of these Netflix crime documentaries either, right? We shouldn't have the documentaries about and shows about OJ either. We shouldn't have any of that kind of stuff, right? If that's the case, we got to get rid of any crime documentary about any killer in the past.
Yeah, like also maybe Law and Order should be done.
All that has to be gone then. Because I don't 100% disagree with what the texter's saying, but by that logic, we got to get rid of everything.
I'm also not glorifying it. I'm not saying that this guy's a good dude. I'm saying he's a bad dude, but I'm interested in his story.
They're just saying that by having it on ESPN, it's saying, hey, if you go do this, you'll become famous. I understand the logic, but we would have to stop doing all of these then.
Quick question as it relates to Chiefsaholic's comments in that.
He never heard from them in there.
No, I know. The comments that he had made to an individual. Are you allowed to say you like to hustle in private if you wear a wolf costume and howl at Chiefs games as a super fan? Are you allowed to be a private person if you are
it turns out
dressed up like a wolf all the time?
Well, he meant it clearly as in that, he had bet reportedly $80,000 on something.
I don't feel like he was all that private about it at the time. Remember, people were asking him how he was able to bet $50 grand
he said he had a
on
warehouse
the Chiefs
job.
to win MVP.
Yeah,
He said he ran a warehouse or whatever.
But somebody asked him, like, hey, did you just bet $80,000? He's like, yeah, but keep it on the DL or whatever. Well, we now know why, because it's not normal to just be dropping $80,000 on random games. This lawyer is that's who I can't wait to hear from. If you want to know the truth.
Oh,
There's nobody
because of the original clip, is that why?
Yeah, because this was the attorney for Chiefsaholic months ago, this was months ago, on the steps of the courthouse.
This is not Chiefsaholic's last drive. And he believes, and we believe, that when the final whistle blows and all of the facts are known, that he is going to be redeemed in the eyes of his community, in the eyes of his fans, and in the eyes of the Chiefs Kingdom.
I'll never forget that one.
This
attorney's unbelievable.
I do think people on the outside who are not Chiefs fans are going to be like,
this guy was really that big of a deal? I don't, because I'll be totally
this show for months.
Because I'll be totally honest, just before coming into here, like they would show him on TV, and it's like, oh, that guy's a passionate fan.
He blew up more.
That is all.
Once this thing happened.
Yeah.
Like before, I had seen photos of him or whatever, but like he wasn't like the biggest Chiefs fan that came to mind.
No, we probably spent more time on this show talking about X Factor. Oh
gosh,
and him getting in a fight with a different super fan, and then him walking out of that hospital, with the IV bag.
I'm a meth addict, which I'm a cocaine addict and alcoholic.
Who is this?
That's X Factor.
Oh, Drew, we got to show you that clip. We got to show, dude. He is just to recreate the clip for you visually before you watch it. He is wearing this tri-corner arrowhead-shaped red hat in a hospital gown, walking with his IV bag out of the hospital after he got knocked unconscious at a Chiefs game the day before in this clip. So that's the preface of the clip, okay? So you can just imagine how this was going. Now, Chiefsaholic in the superfan community jumped up in our eyes the second he started robbing, not started robbing banks. The second we found out he was robbing banks.
He's my old apprentice. I actually made him famous. Gave him the name Red Extreme. I saw him come run up the stairs at me, and he had that look, I'm going to kill you. And so I tried to grab his jersey to stop him and talk to him, and he, like the movie Friday, he deboed me one punch, and I saw stars. They took me to triage at Arrowhead, checked me out. I felt all right at the time, but then I didn't know I'd broke my ribs.
Dude, the photo looks like a Renaissance painting of tragedy.
Oh man.
Just like it
Look,
can't.
I'm sure there's some super fans out there that are great people. But I'll be honest, it's hard not to look at some of them a little differently after a couple examples we just gave you.
Yeah, it's not been a good run for
I know there's KC Warriors out there. He's a big fan of Dusty Lykin's work.
Okay.
I'm sure he's a great guy.
Is he keeping it clean?
I'm sure that we know.
We got a messy group.
I'm sure he's a great guy. No reason to believe he's not. But I'm definitely more skeptical of all of them because of these other ones giving him a bad name.
Because of
bad
these
rap.
other ones floating around.
That's right.
I'm going to watch that doc on Monday, whether it's before or after the show or after the Chiefs game. I am absolutely watching it on Monday. I'm open to discuss it on Monday if you guys want.
People don't want us to play spoiler, they're saying. They want us to give them time to watch it. So we might have to wait till Tuesday or Wednesday. That's fair.
We'll have the show next Wednesday.
Well, Tuesday.
You only got till Tuesday.
We'll do it Tuesday.
Sorry. You find some time on Monday or Tuesday morning. But you got to find time because we're discussing it on this show as of Tuesday. Also, you know a lot of the details. It'll just be the clips that we play.
Still, I understand what people are saying.
Maybe some different stuff. I understand. We're warning you in advance of the possible spoilers that are coming of us watching this ESPN-produced Chiefsaholic documentary that comes out on Monday. And we've already reached out for an interview request.
Yes, for the
and I have heard back, and we could be getting into the second phase of getting that situated.
Good. So we think we'll have someone from the documentary maybe on the show.
Is the lawyer an option? I'm just asking.
No, I believe we're going to be getting someone from ESPN, most likely. Anyway, coming up next, right at the Arrowhead, we're going to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, ahead of the Super Bowl rematch with the Eagles.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Nate Taylor joins the guys in studio Tuesdays at 1 during the season, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to VictoryChryslerDodgeJeepRam.com.
Hey. You already know that there's nothing like a custom design and crafted jewelry treasure from House of Diamonds. A one-of-a-kind creation built from scratch for a one-of-a-kind love. But sometimes you have a need for speed. This is Gene at House of Diamonds. And just in case custom jewelry isn't in the cards, we have a case. Actually, we have 19 cases filled with some of the most beautiful handcrafted jewelry you'll ever see. Earrings, rings, bracelets, pearls, pendants, and fine gemstones. A lot of it we created in our shop. All of it carries our name with the quality and craftsmanship you've come to expect from House of Diamonds. And any item can be tweaked and customized just for you. Think of it as Custom Express. Custom Express or custom from scratch. Get it at locally owned, family owned House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell and Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell and Cordell's Missouri or Kansas attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell and Cordell. Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell and Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell and Cordell's Missouri or Kansas attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell and Cordell.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working toward your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day. From comfortable guest rooms to complimentary hot breakfast. Fairfield is part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels and official hotel partner of the NCAA. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Subscribe to the 610 Sports KC YouTube page for exclusive video content from Cody and Gold on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs and your home for Royals baseball. 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City. WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. A reminder, during the next commercial break, be listening for that sounder. That'll be your chance to win a prize pack from Yingling. Join Yingling and Johnny's Tavern this November to support Loggers for Heroes. Join Johnny's Tavern to give back to local KC vets. Yingling, America's oldest brewery, is proud and thankful for Kansas City's servicemen and women. Let's go to 610sports.com to learn more. Let's head right out to Arrowhead, though, right now, and hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid.
All right. Really no injuries to talk about. Everybody's going to practice today, so we're good there. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Eagles. Good football team. Best record in the NFL, I believe, right now, and well-deserved. Coach Sirianni's done a good job. They got good players. Their offense is tough. Brian does a heck of a job coordinating that thing, and then Sean does a great job with that defense. So they're playing good football right now. Look forward to coming here to Arrowhead and playing the game. It should be electric, and I know our fans will welcome them in. So anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, what is it like just going up against that organization you know so well?
Yeah, well, it's a well-run organization. Howie Roseman has done a nice job. I'm so close with a lot of those people there, so they do a nice job. Jeffrey Lurie starts with him, so you're familiar with it. But again, once the game gets on, then it's the game. So you're not worried about all that stuff.
Coach, coming out of the Miami game, you actually got the bye week. What were some of the biggest focal points that you wanted to focus on or work on leading to Monday's game?
Well, I mean, there were smaller things. I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, we worked on a few things. So we have plenty of room to improve. So I've talked about that. The penalties, we've got to continue to work on those, eliminate those. That's important.
Andy, you played against a number of the league's leading receivers, and no one's really had a big game against you. Other than guys at the back end of your defense are playing well. Something you can put your finger on why that's been so effective?
Yeah, look, I think it starts up front. You have a couple no names up there that don't get a lot of credit. With Dana being one of them, and he's playing really good football right now. George is a year improved and playing real good football. So Nadi gets no credit, and I don't think he wants the credit, but he doesn't get any credit. He's a stout player inside. And then you had Charles. Charles is coming on, so he hasn't been here the whole time, but that's a nice addition to that mix.
My apologies.
You're fine.
You had obviously the bye week to obviously scout the Eagles. I know every year is slightly different, but is there anything that you see that is a difference between playing them in the Super Bowl and obviously preparing for them on Monday?
No, I wouldn't say there's much difference. Those receivers are still plenty good, and their quarterback's a good football player, as is the running back. So I know they had an injury to the tight end, so that would be a little bit different, but they've got good players in those spots. So, and then defensively, it's really basically the same unit. A couple of those guys are a little bit older, but you can't tell. So 91 and 55 were there when I was there, and they are like, they seem to get better with age.
Coach, I know Chris is probably the first one to tell you, he lost his cool in the game against Miami, but he's had several games without a sack. We're going to talk to him. Do you sense of frustration kind of building? He started so hot so quick, and
now has kind of gone dry. Is he getting a little frustrated?
Well, I mean, you're going to ask him that, but I don't sense that. He knows that they slide the line to him. And so when I mention these other guys, you know, and they chip them and all that. So when I mention these other guys, they're getting the benefit of him being doubled or chipped, and they're taking advantage of that. But Chris will get his when it's all said and done. He does so much for us, that attitude-wise and play-wise. So.
And circling back to Adam's question about being able to take away the top receivers on the other team, L'Jarius has obviously been a big part of that. He's had 7 flags over the last 3 games for either interference or holding. Is he kind of feel like a marked guy right now just because he does play pretty physical?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I can't really answer that all the way. I wouldn't say he's marked, but I'll leave it at that.
Andy, when you look at first half and second half offensive numbers, is that something you chalk up to coincidence? Do you study the reasons why maybe there's a pretty big contrast there?
Say again.
Just your first half offensive numbers and your second half offensive numbers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Fraze, I give credit to Fraze because he does all that. And he's on top of all that all the time. So, no, I can't tell you exactly why, but he probably could, but I'm not going to let him talk to you.
Andy, one of the things that the Eagles and yourself, your guys' team, good teams win close games, and the Eagles have shown that a lot this year. Is there a characteristic among teams and maybe about them that allows them to survive a close one at the end?
Yeah, they're good. They're just good. I mean, they're well coached, and they've got good players. So, and they, you know, they have a culture there that dictates that, and so a good football team.
Andy, with the receivers, just the self-scouting that went with them during this bye week, you know, what have they learned more to try to just make themselves more available and everything that's going in to just try to make themselves better?
Yeah, they're getting better as we go. I know it's hard to see, but they're getting better, and you know, we'll just see how it goes forward. I mean, anything I say isn't going to mean anything unless it, you know, they continue to improve. But we're seeing improvement. We just got to keep it going.
Coach, in the Super Bowl, Jalen rushed for 70 yards, setting a record. You guys won, but he was still a major threat making that game close. Is that the same thing that you have to be attuned to when you play them this time, his mobility and how he'll take off and run?
Yeah, he threw the ball well too. So I mean, it was. Yeah, you've got to look at all that. I mean, he's a strong kid, and that helps him in running. He's fast and strong, hard to bring down, strong in the pocket, and he's got a big arm. So he did well against us. Yeah, good player.
Sorry. Coach, you know Jason, obviously Travis. What have you made of what they've done for the growth of the game, maybe in the past year with everything they've kind of been involved with off the field and leading into this game?
Yeah. Listen, ex-players have done a great job once they've gotten on the media. I mean, we know that. But to have the guys still playing and doing it and still maintaining the support of their teams doing it, that means that they're handling it the right way. And they're not putting coaches or players, you know, at risk. There's no threat there. That's when you get into trouble. So that I would tell you, it's a good example for guys. This will continue to grow with other teams, and so how you handle that, I think, is important. These guys have done a nice job with it. That part, I think, is the best example.
Couple more guys. Andy, with both teams coming off bye weeks, there's always hullabaloo about your team coming off the bye week. Is there something different about this year that with the offense look really different?
No, I mean, I don't know. I get asked that because we've had success, and I don't know the reason. I mean, we just go play. I've had good players. Been fortunate that way.
Coach, you've talked since you've been here about how all the games, so many of them come down, they're close at the end, and then, you know, the magic card you've had here of Wade is Pat's ability to go down the field so quick. How much of that is a unique trait, the ability to you have to take chunks. We have 51 seconds and one time out. He seems to be able to take those chunks and know the risk reward and when to do it. How special is that part of it?
Yeah. Seren, there's no better weekend than this past one to look at how crazy the league is and how much parity there is in the league. And the league has strived for that. Give every city an opportunity to be successful. And you saw it. I mean, this past weekend was wild. So to have somebody like Pat ends up being a big part of that. I mean, you start looking at the games that are determined by one score. It's ridiculous. Every year it increases, and by number there. So to have somebody that can lead like Pat does and play the way he does, rally the guys around him, I think is important. Yeah.
Last one, Neil.
Coach, how does having a week off for the guys, how does that affect them? And do you expect them to be fresher and feel better coming to practice?
Yeah, I think both teams would tell you yes. I mean, a little time off doesn't hurt the guys physically. So and most of them came back in good shape. They didn't just sit on the couch. They worked. So it made sure when they got back here they could move around well. And sometimes you worry about the big guys, but I thought our guys did a nice job with that. Yeah.
All right, so that was Andy Reid. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a second. Also expected to hear from Chris Jones. Good news, no new injuries, right? That we heard that from Andy Reid. Everybody's expected. That means to practice this afternoon, which we'll get an update on who was, if anybody ended up being limited and all that kind of stuff later on in the afternoon. But obviously a good thing both teams are coming off a bye week, so you would expect both teams to, unless there's longer standing injuries like Nick Bolton and others, you would expect anybody that was nicked up a little bit to be available.
The other part is like, do I believe in Andy Reid when he says the wide receivers are getting better?
Yeah, he says he's seen improvement in practice.
Okay, but at some point that doesn't matter, and they actually have to show improvement on the field. I know Sky Moore looked good in training camp. We sat there. I watched him. He did look very good in training camp. Looked like the guy ready to take the leap, but I haven't seen it on the field yet, which is what really matters to me.
Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes. He's at the podium.
Patrick,
How you doing?
how was your time off? How did you enjoy it, refresh it, look over everything? How'd you spend it?
Yeah, got to spend some time in Texas with the family, and then obviously had my charity gala, which was really cool. And then got to go to the Texas Tech game at KU. So a lot of family time. Got to look at a little bit of football as well. But it's good, always good to get the bye week, especially kind of that midpoint of the season to kind of refresh and restart for the next part of it.
What part of the football aspect did you really focus on?
Yeah, I think for me, it's you learn. I always go back to the fundamentals, try to get back to my fundamentals as best as I can during the bye week. And then I think watching the tape, seeing what we did well, what we can improve on, and then try to use that into this next part of the season and try to be even better than when we went into the bye.
Does something ever surprise you when you go back and do kind of a more thorough review like that?
I think what I've realized just now is it's never as big as it seems. It's always little things as far as fundamentals, as far as games and stuff like that. And so it doesn't surprise me now, but instead of trying to make these big, huge changes, you just go back to the fundamentals and try to execute even better.
Patrick, with the new defensive coordinator with the Eagles, they have obviously some different personnel. But outside of those main topics, what have you seen differently from this defense that may be better or worse than what you saw from the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the main thing. They have a lot of the same players, and they've added some more talent. D-line's special, one of the best D-lines I think I've ever seen. Just waves of guys that can come in and play, mixture of veterans and young guys. The DBs, two great DBs at cornerback position, adding Bayard and a Blankenship at the safety position, and then linebackers, guys that have played and been in the league for a little bit now. So they have a good defense in general. I mean, obviously a great team, but a good defense in general at all aspects. And so for us, it'll be a great challenge.
Patrick, how do you see the rapport with the receivers growing in the second half and as you go here?
I've always felt like throughout the season, the chemistry gets better and better. Obviously, everybody wants the receivers to blow up and everything like that. But I think guys have gotten better as the season's gone on, and they'll continue to get better. And we're making strides in the right direction. And I think we'll keep doing that as the season goes, and hopefully carry that momentum into the playoffs.
On top of that, how much do you take pride in making it better? We always hear about like Michael Jordan makes his players better. How do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is go out there and try to be great every single day. And that's what I try to do in practice, getting extra reps, and then into the game and try to make those adjustments on the fly. And so I push guys to give everything they have every single day. And luckily for me, I have a lot of guys like that on the team. But at the end of the day, you just got to go and keep at it, stay with the process, and then at the end of the year, you're satisfied with the results.
Patrick, in a game like this where the best team in the NFC, the best in the AFC, and two great quarterbacks, do you love that? I mean, the Super Bowl proved you and Jalen battled it out to the very end. You were injured. You look at that game, is that kind of what you expect in this Monday night stage?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Like you said, you got great teams in general. I mean, obviously Jalen's a great quarterback, but I think just the full entire team on both sides is you never know how the game's going to go. It could be high scoring, it could be low scoring, but two teams that usually find a way to get a win and playing on Monday Night Football in front of the whole world. It's going to be a great game, and I'm glad it's at Arrowhead.
Patrick, Andy's talked for a long time. I just asked him about every game. So many games come down to the very end, and you got to have those hurry-up drives. And you've been very successful at it. I'm just curious. Do you go through a checklist? You seem to know when to risk. I mean, Buffalo, you threw the pick, but you had to go fast, right? Last year. Is there a mental checklist you go through that this is more urgent? I've got to be more risky here because it's worth it. It's the only way to get it done. How does that work in your brain when you're figuring that out?
We talk through it every single week. Every week I've been here from OTAs through now. We talk about situations, if we're down 2 scores, we're down 1 score, what the situation is, what time we want to score before, all these different situations, and prepare us as best as we possibly can for games. And you watch other teams around the league, you take notes from that stuff as well. And I just always feel prepared because we do that. And so I know I'm on the same page with Coach Reed, with Coach Nagy. Everybody is that we know what we're trying to do in that situation. And so if you need to press the issue, press the issue. If you want to take some time off the clock, take some time off the clock. And I think that's you see in the NFL. I mean, you saw this last week. All the games are close, so it's who executes at the end of games the best, and that's who ends up winning.
And I know I asked you this a couple of years ago, going back 5 years when you did the shop, I think the LeBron James show, and you said, I can't wait, Peyton Manning, Tom, they see everything now. In 5 years, I think was the number you said. Can't wait to see where I'll be. I know you're not the type to be like, yeah, I got it all figured out, but you look back and go, wow, look at what I know now, and is there still more to learn?
Yeah, I think you have to find the right balance. I feel like I obviously know a lot more than I knew in that chair that day. But I think you always want to have that mentality of you're going to make it happen. And that's what I had in that chair that day, and I feel like I still have now is even if you know what the right read is, sometimes you want to make the big play happen whenever it's needed, and I have to balance that line throughout my entire career.
Has it been an adjustment for you, the way you guys are playing defense now, that maybe you don't need to do some of the things you've done in the past? Has that been an adjustment for you, or are you playing the game, you feel like the same way?
There's definitely an adjustment, I think, just early in the season, but I've had a feel for that. I think as seasons have gone on, you have a feel for how the whole team's playing, not just the defense, the offense, special teams, stuff like that. And you have to adjust on the fly. It's week in, week out. You have to make adjustments. And so, obviously, if the defense is playing good and the offense maybe not playing to the level I want, you run some time off the clock. Or if you feel like the offense needs to score, you speed it up. But that's just part of playing the quarterback position. And it's not always pretty, but if you get the win at the end of the day, that's what you want.
Patrick, we've talked just a lot about the way defenses play. You guys have taken away the back end. Do you notice when you watch film that other teams are seeing more of that you see the defenses you're going to face playing more of that against other teams? Or are you still seeing a lot of unscouted stuff?
You see some teams, you see some similar stuff, but I would say we still see a lot of unscouted stuff. I mean, having a guy like Travis makes it a lot different because he's the level that he plays at, it takes so much attention for the defenses to go up against, and then they know we want to throw it deep, so they stay deep and make us be patient and drive the length of the field. And I mean, I want to throw it deep as much as everybody, but they're making me earn it and throw it short, and I think that's why we're having to drive the field these last few years, and so we have to continue to prove that to get guys to come up so we can hit the deep pass when it is there.
Patrick, you spoke about your gala. You had Doug Williams there, presented you with the Black College Football Hall of Fame Founders Award. Speak about that. What was that feeling like for you?
Yeah, that was actually a surprise to me. I knew Doug and Shaq Harris were going to be there, but I didn't know I was getting that award, and it is an honor. It really is. I mean, those are the true greats of the game that put me in the position where I can be playing the quarterback position today, and for them to present an award like that to me, it's a tremendous honor. Just to know that they've recognized me for something whenever I know that everything that I've done is because of them.
We'll go last two, Neil and then Nate. Go ahead, Neil.
Patrick, I have a producer who asked me, this is two-pronged question. He wanted me to ask you about your underwear. Because I got in the media, we got a chance to see you on the sideline at Texas Tech. You can't go anywhere. It's like Beatlemania. What's your life like?
It's calmer than Travis's. I'll say that. So I think I'm doing all right. I'll keep just playing football and having fun doing it.
And about your underwear?
Well, my underwear, I've worn them my entire career, and Chad actually said something about right before he retired. He said something about it, and it kind of went under the radar, and I was like, thank goodness, man. No one picked that up, and then of course, I think it was Eli had to say it on the broadcast, and I was like, now it's going to be a thing. So they'll still be worn as long as we're winning. So I'll make sure to clean them. And I don't wear them in the games. I just wear them to the games, so they're not that bad. But hopefully we keep winning games. I can wear them for 20-plus years.
How old are they?
Well, I've been starting for 6 years, so they're 6 years old.
So only professional?
Yeah, only professional. Brittany got them before one of my first starts, and I wore it that Chargers game, and the rest is history.
I'm so glad we have 30 on this. I have two questions for you, Patrick. Just how beneficial is it for you to have everybody healthy going into this week, obviously being available to practice? And then, since you are in your 7th year, how much imprint, say, do you have for the coaching staff for the bye week that maybe you didn't have in 2017, 2018?
Yeah, I would say it's obviously great when you have healthy guys this time of the year, and we try to maintain that with Rick and the training staff and in the weight room as well. But I mean, just having those guys out there practicing, you have that chemistry, and then we've gotten to work with the other guys as well, and so that's always a plus. You want to keep maintaining that, and then I think you get more and more every year. I mean, I got to talk to Coach Nagy, I got to talk to Girardi, I got to talk to Coach Reed during the bye week, and just they gave me some of their inputs, some of the stuff they wanted me to work on. I told them stuff that I liked, stuff that I thought we could get better at, and we're going to try to execute that this week. I mean, what a better challenge than playing the Eagles the first week out of the bye and seeing where we're really at.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Well, it's wild time in Kansas City these days. Taylor Swift daily updates, and now an update on the underwear story we mentioned from Monday Night Football when he was on the Manning cast, and they asked him, and he brought up he had some superstitious underwear. We were trying to figure out, we're like, wait a second, there's no way he's wearing the underwear in the game, and he confirmed that he's had superstitious underwear for 6 years. He wears them on the way to the games. He doesn't wear them in-game.
Well,
And
that
he said
hold up a
they'll
little
still
bit.
be worn as long as they win. He said he'll make sure to clean them.
Which is important.
Yeah. What a weird time we live in
There were
now.
at least, well, I
It's
mean,
a
we got a
weird time.
Chiefsaholic trailer out today.
Yeah.
Constant Taylor Swift stuff. The #1 song on iTunes is Travis and Jason Kelsey singing a Christmas
it's
tune. And that was
unreal.
maybe 4 follow-up questions about his underwear in a single press conference. Not like that there was just, the first question was, and your underwear? Like that was it. That was the whole question. And your underwear? And then he explains it, and then they're like, all right, tell me more. Hold on. I don't think I got the whole story on the underwear. Give me a little bit more. Okay, we're good. Great answer, by the way, to what is your life like in the moment? Well, it's calmer than Travis's.
Well, we've talked. We had a segment about it. I don't know, a month ago. Like nobody is happier about the attention Travis is getting than Patrick Mahomes. Nobody. His life has gotten way easier since Travis started dating Taylor Swift.
That's true.
He's thrilled about it. He's not the #1 guy that everybody wants to talk about in the city anymore. He's loving it. He just gets to go play football and occasionally answer questions about his underwear. I
He
guess.
did, you know what? There's the real quick thing about like, hey, do you still think you're really famous amongst Chiefs fans? The answer is absolutely, based on just that one interaction alone, right? Where there are multiple questions about your underwear. It's almost
we're
like
supposed to hear from Chris Jones soon. I don't know if anybody's going to ask him about his underwear or not, but we are going to hear from Chris Jones.
He's been asked about his underwear a couple of times in his career.
Yeah, more
and
than
it
his
was a different circumstance.
Yeah, a little bit different during the combine. Yeah.
He's already answered those questions, so it's fine. He did say, Patrick Mahomes said the exact same thing, by the way, which is the wide receivers are getting better. We see growth. We know that it's there, which I really hope they're right. But also, you and I both know that there's no other way in which they're allowed to answer that question. Right?
Well, yeah, they're not going to say, you know what? I agree with you guys. You know what? Sky Moore, they all stink. Like, what are they supposed to say?
Do ought to get in the gym and run some more routes. Get on the jugs machine. I'm tired out
Now,
here.
look, I do
back
believe
hurts from carrying their ass.
Yeah,
No,
like-
it's not what he's going to say.
I do believe during the bye week, there's got to be some new wrinkle, though, right? With this coaching staff, it's all on them as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whether it's putting personnel in better spots, increasing playing time, decreasing others, there has to be, whether it's adding more Jerick McKinnon in the red zone, like there's something that clearly adjustment-wise has been made. We're going to find out on Monday night. And what's weird, fair or not, like everybody's going to judge their offense performance on Monday and be like, hey, if nothing changes Monday, nobody's going to believe anything changed during the bye week, right?
No.
And so that's like, there's a lot of pressure on this game Monday from an offensive standpoint, like to show some sort of improvement.
To get confidence back in your team, to get confidence back in the unit. And Mahomes said, no, he's kind of good about the ebb and the flow, because I don't think it's a bad question to say, hey, do you find yourself, I think it was Harold Kuntz who asked it, do you find yourself knowing, because I've asked Andy about that, like we've questioned Andy about this. Do you find yourself in those moments not trying to press too hard on offense because you know what your defense can do? And he's like, well, I got a good ebb and flow about the whole unit's playing. And he kind of half admits the thing must be true, which is if it doesn't feel like we have to score right now, we're not going to put everything in this one moment knowing that we're able to stop this thing and can do it a little bit different. And so I think there's a little bit of truth to that. I think the defense is taking the numbers down because they don't need it as much. And we know for a fact that they've not scored some points late that they normally would score because they had the game in hand, right? And that includes him sliding down to the 2-yard line instead of going in the damn end zone. They would have way more points, but for the times that it gets pointed out that they've scored, like the Browns have scored more than them, I'm like, yeah, they have. But you and I both know, even with the Chiefs offense struggling, which offense is better. And let's just say in the Deshaun era, we know. We know which offense was better. It wasn't a mystery.
We'll let you know when Chris Jones is at the podium, but in the meantime,
all 32.
Let's get into it. Staying with the NFL here. So we know the Bills fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, a couple days ago. And I think immediately it was pretty evident like he's being used as the scapegoat. And look, I think the Bills are going to look better on offense the rest of the way. And everyone's going to sit there and say, wow, see? It's all Ken Dorsey's fault.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, it's going to be the fact that if they are to get better, Josh Allen's just not going to have so many damn turnovers. Like, positive regression is a thing. Like, if you look through some of the analytics, they actually have been top 5 in a lot of the key categories, DVOA, success rate, and QBR, and yards per play, red zone efficiency. But what has been holding them up? Turnovers. So I guess what I'm saying is just like, this is the nature of the job if you're Ken Dorsey, but they're going to be better offensively because there's going to be some positive regression, and everybody's going to say, wow, it was all his fault this whole time. So it sucks to be Ken Dorsey, I guess, but the Bills, what I'm trying to say, they're going to get better offensively in the back half of the season.
Including fumbles, Josh Allen has led the league in turnovers, though, like the last 4 years in a row.
That's my point, though. It's like, it's not Ken Dorsey. I don't think it's Ken Dorsey.
No, I think Josh Allen just has a turnover. Like, that's part of his game. I think, who was it? Was it Pablo Torre? Somebody on Twitter had pointed out something. It's Benjamin Solak, who's come on this show, over from The Ringer. The point he was trying to make by just sharing one graphic, which is, yeah, he turns the ball over, but it's an accepted part of his game you shouldn't care about. Now, that sounds silly, but Josh Allen, as you pointed out in all these stats, runs one of the most efficient offenses every single year in the NFL, even while he has those turnovers, which means, yeah, there are turnovers, but you should accept them as an accepted part of his game because of how good he is under normal circumstances. I don't know if they're getting way better. Their problem is the same problem as the Bengals, which is if they slip up one more time, then they really seriously risk missing the postseason, even if their offense starts playing a lot better. Speaking of offenses that need to improve, Frank Reich was asked whether or not he was going to take back play calling after a single week of handing over the reins. This is what he said.
I am going to resume the play calling duties. This is not about Thomas. This is about me. It's about the team. I'm in the position I'm in because of years of offense, being a successful offensive coordinator and play caller.
So you might think, okay, this goes back to maybe
Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, the Pioli conversation that we had before, which is micromanagement. Something to be. He couldn't even give it up for a couple of weeks. He is going to wear the entire failure of the development of Bryce Young this year individually, all by himself, Gold, because they have gotten nowhere from a developmental
standpoint. Isn't that why he's taking it back? Because he knows he's going to get blamed either way. Might as well go down with it being me, right? Like, I think that's exactly why he's taking it back.
I also think
he's going to get blamed anyway.
But he's also saying dumb things. He's like, well, look, it'd maybe be a 10% difference than it was before. It's nothing. I'm sorry. I don't know everything there is to know about the NFL, but I'm pretty sure that 10% of an entire NFL offense is a massive change. That's a huge change in the way you operate. If you told me coming into this bye week, the Chiefs changed 10% of what they do on offense, I'd be like, oh, well, that's a very big percentage. That might look quite a bit different. Maybe you're right. Maybe just taking it over. I think this might be you should trust the other smart people in the building who you've chosen to employ because you got a lot of things to worry about, Frank, outside of play calling. So many different things based on the way this team is performing. Why not take this one thing off your plate for a little bit of time? Find out if your guy can do it and worry about the other responsibilities you're in charge of.
Similarly, Brandon Staley says that he will continue calling defensive plays for the LA Chargers.
Him and Sean McDermott are not giving it up, right?
This comes after the worst performance the defense has had in his tenure, and it's always something with the Chargers. Brandon Staley can't do the plays. He makes bad decisions at the end of the game. It seems like, and with the Bill Belichick rumors going around that have been of late, it seems like there may not be an option, regardless of what Brandon Staley does after this year. Is there any way that he can salvage the situation? I don't think there is, just given the rumors going around in the situation that they're in. He hasn't done good enough for 3 years. I don't know if them even making the playoffs and winning one playoff game makes the difference for his
I think
job.
that could still save him.
I would say, yeah, a playoff appearance and a win probably keeps his job.
Think so?
Yeah. That was the terms before the season, everybody kind of thought. So I wouldn't change it just off of that. But yeah, I mean, if they miss the playoffs, there's no reason he should be their head coach.
Who do you think is the next head coach? Ben Johnson? They got to
That's
go
who they
off.
should.
They got to go
The
off.
tricky part with Ben Johnson in LA is Kellen Moore's there. And does ownership actually think Kellen Moore is totally
How many
fine?
times is Kellen Moore going to just be...
He's only had 2 coordinator jobs in the
No, I
league.
know, but both times it was well, he's pretty much a head coach. But he didn't get the head coaching job the last time, so they're just going to give him this one. I can't get a read on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore falls into the camp of, if he doesn't get a job this cycle, this time around, then he won't, right? Or at least it'll make it a lot harder.
Kellen
We talked
Moore's
with Eric
35
Bieniemy.
years old.
No, that's fair.
I mean, he's 30.
He's still very young.
I wouldn't say that we're never gonna get an opportunity. That's all 32 though in the NFL. Let's go back out to Arrowhead and hear from Chiefs defensive lineman Chris Jones.
Push, the brotherly shove. You saw it last year's Super Bowl. Any ideas how you can stop it this time around?
They haven't been stopped all year. I think the one that did get stopped on was Washington, where they fumbled the ball. So I don't know, man. We just gonna have to. I don't know, honestly. We have to figure something out. But they're so good at it, and it's a rugby style play. Unfortunately, we haven't watched any rugby style of play of defense yet. But we'll figure something out.
Jalen Hurts, he rushed for like 70 yards in the Super Bowl, but threw for another 300. He's very talented, 2 of the best quarterbacks, Patrick and him. What are some of the things, especially facing him, that you need to do to try to contain him the best you can?
More so, eliminate the run game. If we're able to limit how many yards he get per carry, then I think we're doing something good. And force hands in his face and take him down on the passing game. Get around him, overcrowd him. They got such a good offensive line that's done really, really well so far this year. So, got to come up with schemes and everything to affect Jalen Hurts.
Chris, you've gotten to play with some really good players here. Since your career started, do you think this could be the most talented defense as a whole that you've played with since you began?
Overall, I still think we can get so much better. So far, so good. As the best overall defense, I mean, it's still halfway through the season. For me to say that now and we end up at that last, it doesn't even matter. So I think we take it one game at a time, continue to get better, and then you ask me this question at the end of the year, I have an answer for you.
Chris, are you seeing a similar amount of attention from offensive lines, whether it's style or the amount of guys that will block you that you have in the past?
Yeah, it's similar. It's expected, though. Thankfully, I have guys who've been excelling around me. George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, Tershawn Wharton, who's having an outstanding year so far. So we got to keep it up, take advantage of our one-on-ones. As long as we're able to do that, I'm able to get free and probably get a one-on-one and cause a little havoc.
Chris, the coach talked about those guys you mentioned. He said that they were no-name guys. Guys like Mike Dana don't really get the credit that they should. You feel that way?
Yeah. This is when you think about it, this is a selfish group. You know, it's not about names. It's you know, it's not about numbers either. I think people get caught up. I was listening to the broadcast talk about Quentin Williams and how special he is to the Jets defensive line, but he don't have as many sacks as he did last year. And the interesting point on that was he's making everyone around him better. And, you know, that's the way I look at it. It's not about stats. I mean, to magnify how important these guys are. You know, they're having good years. I mean, they're having a good year so far, but the importance to how they've been to this defense and the success of this defense, you know, the numbers go beyond that.
You speak about those numbers. Do you take pride in making all those guys better?
Yeah, more solely, I think as a player, it's not what you do. I think it's more so how you make players around you better.
Chris, sorry, I apologize.
Oh, you got it.
Go ahead.
Kobe Bryant emphasized on that. Just you know, for him, it was going to come, but more importantly, just making guys around him better, and that's what I emphasize on. Just making sure George have a career year, making sure Mike have a career year. That gives me excitement because I feel like I contribute to that a lot. You know, I put a lot of energy and I invest a lot in those guys. So just to see those guys succeed beyond what you guys expected or what they expected brings joy to me.
Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay, man.
You said it's not about numbers, but a little bit for your bottom line it is, right? There are numbers that matter to your bottom line. You know, you started off so hot when you came back. A couple games you haven't had a sack. Is frustration maybe creeping a little bit? Is that maybe what happened with the penalty against Miami? A little frustration?
Frustration only creep in when they extracurricular after a play. Other than that, I don't get frustrated on my numbers. I'm gonna hit my numbers, so I never really matter about numbers. I'm gonna hit my numbers. So for me to worry about numbers, so 8 games left in the season. Whether I get a sack this game or not, we got 7 more games left. If I get a sack, 7 sacks in 7 games, you do the math. So I'm gonna hit my numbers regardless. So I never really trip about numbers.
You put together the longest streak in NFL history of consecutive games with it. Like, I mean, again, I think you got one of the other top ones as well. I mean, is it hard? I mean, you're used to getting a sack in every game. Is it like, doesn't feel empty a little bit at all when you kind of make it look easy sometimes?
Well, listen, man, it's so damn hard. To be honest with you, it's so damn hard. With all the attention I get, it gets hard. But when you got guys around you that's succeeding, it makes it easier for you. So some games you might get the double team the whole game, and you might not have that opportunity to win. In one game, you might get a double team 50%. Then so 50%, I got a chance of beating a guy one-on-one. That's the way I look at it. So, you know, frustration can creep in when you feel like your numbers matter. But for me, I don't give a damn about numbers, honestly. Because in my head, I feel like whatever I want is still ahead of me. It's 8 games left. It's another half of a season left. First half of the season, I had 5 sacks, you know. And then I missed the game, right? So I got 8 more games to go. I'm good.
It looked like after you mentioned the penalty, it looked like Joe was giving it to you pretty good on the sideline, just from our vantage point. I'm just wondering, you talked a lot about him. Is there an appreciation for hard coaching and just, I guess, anything you would be willing to share about that moment?
Respectfully, we would have been off the field if I wouldn't have made a penalty. So he emphasized that, you know, it was a costly penalty. I think they scored on the play also. I was 7 out of 14 points, so I understand. But, you know, it was a heat of the moment thing. I got hit after the play. What can I say? It's part of the game.
Chris, during your time off, how did you use that? Did you look over the first half? Did you rest, relax? I mean, did you kind of do a self-examination? How do you use that bye week to help make you fresher and better for the second half?
I did a little bit of it all. I watched film. I was able to sleep, play with my kids. Most importantly, I got a lot of sleep. I haven't slept like that in a long time. But got to hang out with my kids, take them to school, and rewatch all the games I played a part of, the good, the bad, what I can improve on, what I can eliminate. you know, like costly penalties.
You said take them to school. Are you in the carpool line too?
Yeah, quick thing about the school. So they got this crazy line that you got to stay in. I was skipping the line every day because they have 2 entry points. And the school stopped me one day. It was like, "Listen, Mr. Jones, you've been coming through the wrong line every day." And she was so nice about it. I was like, okay. So that was the highlight of my bye week. skipping school lines.
You mentioned the good and the bad. What is the good and the bad for you?
The good and the bad. I always feel like I can be better at something, especially pass rushing, run stopping, overall game, being a better leader, whether it's being vocal, because sometimes I get in the game, I get so locked in, I forget to talk. Been a vocal leader, and believe it or not, coach has been giving me an excessive amount of loafs on the field, and I don't like a loaf. A loaf is if the player's 10 yards away from you, he wants you to run 10 yards to the play. But the player's going to come back after the referee blow the whistle. So I'm a 5-step guy, 5 steps, and just dumb it down. I never make the play 10 yards down the field. So I can improve on that. You know, just small things, you know, footsteps, eye discipline, hand placement, you know. So looking out over those things, seeing where I can get better at.
What coach does? Is that Colin that does that, you said?
Yeah.
Loafs.
I know, right, bro? 10 yards down the field, I would never get there.
All right, that's Chris Jones. A couple things to react to. Obviously, interesting. You can relate to the carpool line. We'll react to
cutting the carpool.
How about that?
Shameful behavior.
How about that? I've heard it's a disaster, by the way, when it comes to pick up your kids at school these days. So we'll get to that. A little bit what he had to say about hitting those numbers. He was very confident about hitting those numbers. We'll also have the random question of the day next year on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold.
Last and probably most important question. Are, in fact, all opinions like buttholes?
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Midwest Marine Boat Company is celebrating their new location, now open in Grandview, Missouri. I was just out there a couple weeks ago, and one thing I noticed right away is the additional technicians they now have in their service department. I was talking to some folks there that say, hey, it's great. Some places will tell you, yeah, we can get some work done on your boat, but it's going to be a month. A month, the summertime is already here. You don't have a month to waste of your time on the lake, specifically if you've got that boat you've been waiting to take out for months and months. You know what's nice about Midwest Marine Boat Company? With those extra technicians that they have, they're turning boats around faster. Their service department is just simply more efficient to get you back out on the water. And if you're looking for a brand new boat, come check out the new huge, and I mean huge, indoor showroom at Midwest Marine Boat Company. They have the largest selection of pontoon boats in the area. Also, new lines of Bass Cat, Crown Line, Vexus, and Sea Arc. Midwest Marine Boat Company, the brand new location with a massive indoor showroom at 13800 South 71 Highway in Grandview, Missouri. We take pride in your fun.
What if I told you there was an amazing treatment that could give you back your energy, help you sleep better, improve your gains in the gym, and likely help your sex life as well? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and that treatment exists. It's called testosterone replacement therapy, and if you're low T, you'll likely be thrilled with the results. Testosterone replacement therapy provides a host of benefits, and if you're like most of the men we treat, you'll feel so much more like the guy you used to be, with better sleep patterns, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and a higher libido. Promenic Partner Practices have treated tens of thousands of men for low T across the nation. Our protocols are highly effective, with most men seeing results in just a few weeks. So give us a call. Just $99 gives you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Get ready to start off the NFL week right. We've got a great one this week in the AFC between the Bengals and the Ravens. You can celebrate it with FanDuel. All customers get a no-sweat same-game parlay for Thursday Night Football. So you just need to place a 3-leg same-game parlay on this week's game between the Bengals and the Ravens, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. NFL same-game parlays are a perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payout. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built right there on the app. Visit FanDuel.com/CDOT. Use my promo code and don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook app. It should be a great one between Cincinnati and Baltimore. It can be even better with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. Refund issued with non-withdrawable bonus spec that expires in 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
This may look like just a furnace, but at Anthony, in partnership with Goodman, we see so much more. We see an opportunity to save money on utility bills. Save $99 on any furnace repair. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
Hey, have you ever been ripped off? It sucks. Having a daily reminder of it is even worse. If you shave with a well-known big razor brand every morning, you might be thinking more about how much you paid for the blades than about how smooth your shave is. I'm Andy, the founder of Harry's. We give you a high-quality shave and an expertly engineered product for a fraction of the price that the big guys charge, with no compromises. They have 5 blades, Harry's has 5 blades. They have a lubricating strip, Harry's has a lubricating strip for extra glide. They have a trimmer blade, Harry's has a trimmer blade for the hard-to-reach areas. They charge up to $4 per blade. Our German-engineered blades cost as little as $2. Big brands charge higher prices because they can. Harry's keeps you in mind, focusing on high quality at a fair price. So stop rinsing cash down the drain every morning. Get a great shave for a fraction of the price with Harry's. Get a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/kickoff. That's harrys.com/kickoff.
Shop Black Friday every day and get the best new deals all month long only at Lowe's. Shop the lowest prices of the year on select major appliances and save an extra $100 for every $800 you spend on select major appliances. Plus, get your home ready for the season with Holiday Living 100-count LED string lights. Was $8.98, now $4.98. Because Lowe's knows deals. Valid through 11/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. All these highly rated wines are under $20. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the lowest prices. Oh, remember that amazing rosé your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com. It's trade-up days at Max Motors dealerships.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
Get up to 130% off book value for your trade. Plus, huge savings on all new and pre-owned vehicles in stock. No payments for 90 days and finance options for everyone. Over 1,700 vehicles in stock.
Shop 24/7 at MaxMotors.com.
All right, back here. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Get to fantasy football in about 20 minutes from now. Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com going to join us, get his thoughts on a couple moves here in Week 11 of the NFL season and how you should approach tonight's game between Baltimore and Cincinnati. Just to wrap up some things what Chris Jones had to say. It was weird. He was asked about the brotherly shove, right? This play that nobody does better than Philadelphia. He says, how do you stop it? Quote, I don't know, man. We'll figure something out. I didn't take that as a, we've got
pretty
something.
much was just taking the L. Like,
they're
good at it.
Sometimes sometimes I would think, they got something up their sleeve. I don't think they do because every other team's tried to stop it. So like, it's going to work. It's going to be frustrating, just like it was in the Super Bowl. You got to keep them out of 4th and 1s and 2s. You want it to be 4th and 3 and 4 if it's going to be in that spot, and it kind of is what it is. And be ready for any new wrinkle off of it, which they've done a few times.
In a
to
weird
the running
way,
back.
it's more important to protect yourself from that on anything outside of the goal line than it is anything else. Because if it's on their own 35-yard line and it's 4th and 1, they will do it. But you got to protect yourself from the wrinkle there because that's where you could not just get burnt for the 1 yard and they just get a first down, but you could get burnt for 15, 20, 30, something like that. I like that he was honest with it. He's like, nah, man, they're really good at that, and I don't exactly have the answers. And then he got asked about the sacks, quite a bit about the sacks, because we know he has a massive contract incentive to get a certain number of sacks. It's going to get him back to what he would have missed out or what he did miss out on by missing all the training camp. I'm not worried about Chris Jones, man. I'm not worried about him getting. I mean, if he doesn't get a sacks and doesn't get paid, that sucks for him, but he's still Chris Jones. I understand. I don't know. I don't think that that's what got him in Miami. He's never been able to avoid that. You know where Travis just aged out of bad penalty late in the game? Chris Jones never really, those things do crop up for him still.
Yeah, he mentioned, he's gonna get his numbers. I'm gonna get my numbers. And I said before the bye, I wondered if he
ran out of gas.
Got a little worn out.
Yeah.
And he said he slept more. What did he say? He slept more than I have in a long time. Good. I love hearing that. Like, that actually is a good sign, I think, that maybe he did need to recharge a little bit based off of where he came out strong and we're like, wow, he doesn't need training camp, but maybe he still kind of did from a just endurance and body and the timing of the bye week might have been perfect for him. I don't know if he'll get a sack on Monday night, but he's not finishing with under 10 sacks. He's just not. If he's playing every game the rest of the way, he's going to at least have over 10 sacks. Whether he gets his incentive and all that, I don't know. Like you said, that's his problem. But
we talked way more about this with Philly, but if you're right, and we just pencil in Chris Jones for 10, they'd have 3 based on the pace for the other 2. 3 10-sack guys this year. That's a lot of players. And I don't think I think it'd be idiotic to assume that some of those guys are not benefited by Chris Jones' existence. They are. That's fairly obvious that they are. But he's still motivated by the contract year and the money. He has room for improvement. So if he ran out of gas, Gold, great. For the defense that has already arguably been the league's best, I guess they can get even better. Fantastic news if Chris Jones is going to take some step forward. As far as the school pickup line, what he was doing is egregious. It is an absolute.
Do you believe he wasn't doing it he wasn't doing it on purpose? He was going in the wrong way. He was picking his kid up quick. Get in and out. Not waiting in the line in Johnson County pickup line for 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Okay, car pickup lines suck. Ours is relatively efficient, and it still sucks. Every day, under my breath, I curse the existence of this Jeep Wagoneer. This
nice car.
This jerk. And they're, $90,000 vehicle.
That's right.
This jerk. Every single day, there's 4 lines. They all funnel into the parking lot. There's the first line that is not really enough space. He could just go to row 2, 3, or 4. He gets there the same time as me. I almost always see him pulling in. There's still room in the other row so that everyone can get in comfortably. And instead, he pulls it into the grass area to try to squeeze into row 1 every day.
Now, does row 1 get to go first?
Yes, obviously.
Oh, well, that's why. I don't blame the guy.
He squeezes in. He makes it impossible for the other cars to get past. I had to get out and move a cone not that long ago. I want to destroy this person's car every day in the car pickup line.
Bring it up to somebody.
How about the lady that went up to Chris Jones eventually was like, hey, Mr. Jones, you've been going in this carpool line long enough the wrong way. It's time for you to switch it up, man. You gotta follow protocol. I still think with a lot of these issues with lines, whether we're talking about Arrowhead crappy traffic and terrible parking, just let Chick-fil-A come up with a strategy. They've figured it out. They've mastered the plan of how they make lines merge together. Everybody gets their food quickly and on time. Nobody's orders getting mixed up. Follow this black car in front of you, sir. Yep, this one. Thank you. On to the next. My pleasure. They're just great. It's a smooth operation. They need to master traffic plans for the car pickup lines at school.
Dude, they had some cops come out to my kid's school to like study the traffic patterns, try to figure out like, all right, let's figure out a better way to do it. And people were lining up on both sides of the street because the parking lot will only fit so many cars. So everyone else ends up on the street until they can get enough cars out of the parking lot to get in there. But they were lining up on both sides like, this is no good. This is causing a massive problem. And so now you were only allowed to enter the parking lot from one side of the street. But that line is now getting so far back. It's like around the corner through a stop sign. No one can tell which.
Can you not do this move? This is what I would do. Your daughter is getting a little old enough where you would be fine with this. Can you not just park like a half block down the street
and walk
and walk either and pick or have her walk?
I think it'd be more than a half block.
Okay, because then you could just make it easy. She just goes there and you avoid all the line and you just get the heck out of there.
Okay.
Maybe she's still too young, but maybe you're able to do that in another year or two.
You know, like, yeah, I'd probably feel
But
that way
not if
for
it's
a day,
pouring down
right?
rain. I'm not saying if it's pouring down rain, but on some days, why not just, park just outside of there? A little walk to the car, you both get out of there quick.
You should bring it up to somebody, though. If Chris Jones can't get away with it, then this guy definitely cannot.
Here's the mailbox smashing federal criminal tap about talking about destroying somebody's car. They take up so... honest to God, if they drove a Civic or something, I don't even think I'd notice.
Oh, now you think they can't... It's a vehicle that you have an issue with.
It's the size of the vehicle.
Well, the Wagoneers are massive.
It's a huge car.
You're jealous of Travis Kelce. You're jealous of the
a lot of
Wagoneer.
jealousy today.
I'm not jealous of this car. It's a massive car. It's wide. It's bottlenecking the situation. There's other places. And you know what it is? How much time are they really saving? Honestly. What are they saving by getting in row 1 versus row 3? I'll
5 minutes.
It sounds like you'd be the person to find out with how frustrated you are about this.
What is this person? So
what's 5 minutes to you?
Well, what's 5 minutes to you
It's
then?
not. It's that it's causing a traffic issue. I don't care about going to row 2 or 3. I'm not trying to get in that spot. I don't care.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If they're saving 5 minutes, that means potentially it's only costing you 5. Because it's only costing you 5.
They're saving 5 minutes, and they're costing literally everyone else minutes.
But 5 minutes.
Their 5
because
minutes
they're blocking everything is what you're
saying.
saying. Okay.
They're slowing the whole system down. And by the way, every single parent who's listening to this show, there's one person or several people who don't follow the protocol the way it is, and they're slowing this up. This could run smoother. This could all run smoother if we all just executed the agreed upon rules.
Someone says school bus works great for me and my kids.
Yeah,
easy for everybody.
I keep trying to.
She won't do it.
She's not ready.
I got you. Fair enough.
I have tried to.
I get it.
Talk.
I did both as a kid. I get it. I'd rather much easier not have to ride the bus.
We were 9/10 of a mile away from school, and they wouldn't send a bus for free unless you were a mile or more away.
Yeah, they got weird boundaries for all that
So we
stuff.
walked in elementary school. I took the bus in middle school, and then I found a friend in high school had a car.
Someone says, "Here's a wild idea, Cody. Get there before the Wagoneer. You said you show up at the same time. Maybe you leave 30 seconds earlier, then you get in front of the Wagoneer."
Great idea, text line. If only I could think about that. I have to pick up my other kid. Thanks, jerk. Thanks for nothing. I got to pick up my other kid. I can't get there sooner. Or I would. But also, I don't think they should be inconveniencing
Tell your kid
other
to
people.
run to the car.
This isn't
The
about
first one.
This isn't
Hurry
about
up.
me. No, they release them in rows. They don't want kids getting hit by cars. There's a whole system. 4 rows. Each person walks down, list off the row. That row of kids comes out. They fill up all 4 rows full of kids in cars before they release row 1. This person is not saving as much time as they think. Where are they getting to? They got to go perform heart surgery somewhere? Like, where is it?
They
that
might be
are
on the
in
Chiefs. Who knows?
Such an epic rush. He's got to get to practice.
Something.
Chris sounds like it was honest. It was an honest mistake,
Random question.
Are you gold for you, Drew? Over on the text line, 913-586-7610. I can't believe how many people are blaming me for this. People hate the car.
Well, they think
line.
They think you're jealous
jealous
of
of
this
the
guy with the
Wagoneer.
Jeep Wagoneer.
It's just that's their
It's a
car.
big ass car.
It wouldn't matter. It's just that's their car, and they're the only person who pulls there.
Someone said maybe you should just talk to the person. But, hey, you've been holding up the line for months.
Just tell them they're being an ass.
Be that guy.
It's tough when
Be that guy.
they could be like classmates with your kid. Like, then I don't want to screw things up for them,
Fair,
when it involves your
fair,
kids, I don't
fair.
want to be like
That's fair.
that person. know,
Can you send an email to the school?
Just about that one
Yeah,
car. Be like,
yeah.
hey, can you just tell this person to?
It's been blocking this for months for everybody in line. Do you mind either adding an extra cone so they can't fit anyway or something? You just email the school. Don't have to involve
Feels a bit cowardly, but
well, you won't do the other thing.
yeah, no,
Yes,
it's
Do you
fine.
want to solve the problem or not?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Might have to go the coward's way. The question I have for you involves an invitation I'd sent out to you, Andrew, and Binkley, and a couple of other people at the station. Every year, we have hosted a chili dinner at our house. I invited you guys, and I invited
saw the invite.
Binkley.
I appreciate it.
Binkley declined the invitation.
Oh, he already declined it.
Then accepted it. Then declined it again, and then accepted it, but with a guest. And so the question I have is, and I don't know what was happening. He was just accidentally doing, but it was 4 different versions of Binkley's invitation. The question I have for you is, when you were invited to a casual work party or like a friend party, what is your preferred method of invite? Would you prefer just a text? Do you like the Evite system? Just an email? What is the best adult version to invite a, let's say, 30-person, 40-person group of people to something?
Yeah, I think the Evite thing you're doing is good because it sends you guys shot me a text. I can click on a link and I decide I haven't RSVP'd yet, but I saw it.
Not important.
So like,
that wasn't about. I was trying to.
But yeah, that's fine. The Evite thing works. I think that's great. It probably depends on the age of the person you're asking. They're like, right. I think people our age probably are used to the Evite stuff. Maybe some other people are just fine with the simple text or the old school mail and the postcard thing.
Well, I'm not mailing a postcard. I mean,
I don't blame
maybe you
you.
prefer that, but that's insane. How often do some people check their mail? I mean,
I don't know. I check like once or twice a week. Yeah.
Yeah, too risky. If you're only going to send the invite out 3 weeks in advance, you can't possibly risk a postcard.
I think people.
Drew already RSVP'd yesterday.
He did. He said he's coming.
I did. People, I think, like getting the Evites because it gives them an out to say no. I did not say no. I did accept your invitation.
That's
but
true. The Evite does give you the guilt-free no. A text
yes,
when you're
exactly.
like, hey, can't make it. Much guiltier,
it
right?
also avoids the, well, why not? I mean, you would have to reach out to say, hey, how come you're not coming? That would be a little, you just move on with yourself. It gives people an out to say no, I think. That's why people like getting those better.
I was asking because, like, my family, they're not great at responding to the Evite. So eventually I have to do what you're talking about. You're like, hey, brother, are you planning on coming to this? It's fine either way, right? Again, not worried about whether or not you can or cannot make it. But when you're planning to have, 30 or 40 people on your mini decks, you can't, there's a food prep thing, right? Like if you're going to have people over to your house, there's a food and alcohol prep relation. So I have to end up sending these texts anyway. So I was trying to decide, do I just cut out the middleman? Is it better to just send a text?
With family, I think sending a text is fine because if they say no, you can actually give them crap in it and they, it's not as big of a deal as if you give, a coworker crap. I think for it. It's like, I want to go.
I want to go back to the Bink thing. That
was fascinating.
He clicked on the link. He accepted. He declined. He accepted. He declined. Then he accepted with a guest.
With a +1. He added a +1 there at the
Who's
end.
his +1?
I don't know.
That's what we were. That's what we didn't get to.
That's the question.
Who's the +1?
You have to ask him.
I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
serious. Is it a family member or is there a new lady in the life of Jay Binkley?
I don't.
Who's his +1? We need to text him.
Do you think he didn't
He
wanna
texted me
come-
earlier. I'm going to text him back.
You're going to ask him who his +1 is to my chili party?
Yeah. Who's your +1?
Someone says door to door. You got to literally show up to their house and ask them whether or not they're coming.
Like you're doing a fundraiser, but you're asking for them to come and eat your chili instead of for money. I think it's a lot less pressure to do that.
I don't think so, too. All I ask is that you just respond. Like the Evite,
I will
don't
eventually.
care if it's not. Yep. I mean, I'm just in general, not you. I haven't bought anything for it yet. Just in general is what I ask. Is hit me with a yes, no, or hell, if you really are on the fence, I'll accept a maybe. Maybe's count in the system.
Yeah, I hate giving a maybe. That's why I haven't responded because I would hate to respond with maybe. Just don't respond. I hate the maybe thing.
Oh, you think?
So I'm
you're
waiting.
Anti-maybe?
Yeah. So because I could.
What if I really am a maybe?
I can mark maybe right now. But I'd rather just wait until I can give you a definitive yes or no.
I'm gonna make an effort to see if I can schedule it. That's
I got a
the
response
maybe.
from Big.
Already?
I knew he would get us back quick.
What's the +1?
He says, "Don't have one yet. I was hoping."
Oh.
You hear that, ladies? You hear that, ladies?
You could come to my house and have 3 different kinds of chili
has
with Jay
a
Binkley.
reserved spot at Cody's Chili Cook-Off or whatever for you. It could be for you. So he's got a +1. He's just thinking ahead. He's thinking ahead.
Smart.
Great.
Smart. That's probably
Someone
what-
says to invite the Wagoneer guy.
No.
To the party.
they're
Get
not.
to settle this.
They obviously live close to me because
That's what I'm
same
saying.
neighborhood
Can
school.
you imagine? You don't even know who it is. Cody, you have no idea who it is yet. Can you imagine? They come in, everything, and you guys and everybody's leaving, and then you see that Wagoneer out there, and you're like, wait a second, whose Wagoneer is
It'd
this?
be like
and
that,
you find out.
It'd be that Chappelle Show skit. They'd be just like crunching their muddy shoes on my couch. You just tell. Just crunching their muddy shoes on my couch. Eating up, like eating a disproportionate share of a certain appetizer. Whatever. You think this is the only thing that they behave like this?
Yes.
It's a pattern of behavior. Every day.
I think Cody's got a point, actually. I think it definitely. If somebody's been doing that every single day, every
Some
day,
people are more aggressive.
It is.
Some people are more aggressive drivers. Doesn't mean they're completely a-holes and aggressive and everything else.
You know what would happen, Cody? If you did the same thing to them, they would get out of their car and they would come and talk to you and approach you about it and get really mad.
If I beat them today, should I park in that spot?
Yes. Why would you not?
Absolutely. But it's definitely
petty.
it definitely goes back to the size thing of the vehicle. Way more intimidating with the Grand Wagoneer versus your Jetta.
You have to, Cody. You have to act like the hood of your car. You have to act like you don't realize how long the hood of your car is. Like, oh, I was just giving room. I didn't want to run around the car in front of
What'll be great is Cody does it the one time, and then school comes out and complains that he's doing it. I would love that update.
That's what's going to happen.
I would love that update. All right, that's the random question of the day. Up next, we talk some fantasy football. Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com tells us who you should be starting tonight, and we'll get into the Royals Stadium. A third site is emerging. We'll tell you about that next.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio.
Ever since I started listening to Cody and Gold, my sex life has never been better.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Holiday stories from Shane Company customers.
My girlfriend thinks we're going to my parents' house to decorate the tree. She has no idea that I'm actually planning to propose. The whole family's in on it, and Shane Company helped me create the perfect ring and stay within my budget. I went with a classic ring with an oval diamond. I tell you, that diamond, I can't wait to see the look on her face.
Shop the largest selection of unique engagement rings in hand-picked diamonds. 'Tis the season to shine. Shane Company. Fine jewelry since 1929.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Gates Barbecue's unforgettable flavor will make your holiday parties unforgettable. Spice up your holiday eating with Gates sauces and seasonings made with fresh, savory ingredients, and it's gluten-free. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates sauces and seasonings while watching the game or relaxing. Sprinkle Gates seasonings on your favorite snack like a bowl of popcorn. Your taste buds will thank you. Buy Gates, available at your local grocer or online at GatesBBQ.com. Gates, 75 years serving Kansas City.
Head over to Buffalo Wild Wings in Overland Park at 105th and Metcalf on Thursday, November 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy music, $10 54-ounce Bud Light pitchers, and wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly, 21 and older, Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tailgate season is turkey season. Score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty, and truly different. Turkey can be used for succulent sliders, killer kebabs, championship chili, or even brilliant burn-ins. Explore all the recipes at tailgatewithturkey.com. And while you're there, register for the ultimate game day tailgate pack with premium prizes like local tabletop griddle, Yeti cooler, portable keg, and more valued at nearly $2,000. You'll be the pride of the parking lot. Turn up your tailgate, KC, at tailgatewithturkey.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELOQUIS.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working toward your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day. From comfortable guest rooms to complimentary hot breakfast. Fairfield is part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels and official hotel partner of the NCAA. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-439-4252. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-439-4252. That's 800-439-4252. Again, 800-439-4252.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey Chiefs fans, it's Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Monday with CDOT during the season on your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
1 o'clock hour, Cody and Gold here on a Thursday. We'll get into the latest around the Royal Stadium project. Report from the Kansas City Star suggesting that a third site now is in play. This whole thing continues to drag on much longer than everybody thought. We'll give you the latest on that coming up in about 12 minutes or so. But let's head right out to our guy, Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com. He's always presented by Twin Peaks, Eats, Drink, Scenic Views, Fantasy Football. We got a great Thursday night game we'll get to in a second, Charge. But I did want to ask you something Cody and I were talking about earlier this week because we both have Jalen Hurts in our fantasy leagues, but trying to figure out, is he the guy you start if you have Sam Howell? Because you got Sam Howell against the Giants, or do you start Jalen Hurts against the Chiefs?
Well, it's my number one. My ranking of quarterbacks this week goes Hurts 1, Mahomes 2, but at the same exact grading point of 9.25 out of 10, and Sam Howell is third at 9.25 out of 10.
All right.
I mean, so it's 1, 2, and 3. It's that close. I mean, I was very optimistic about Sam Howell in the preseason, as you may remember. And I'm not just saying this to Peacock, but I would never have guessed we'd be rolling into Week 11 with Sam Howell as the league leader in completions and passing yards. What? I mean, what he has done and what Eric Bieniemy has done with him, incredibly impressive. And, I think it felt like that first half of the season or so, it was just it was a little bit of smoke and mirrors and just like Sam Howell being creative and stuff. But I'm telling you, these last 3 games, Sam Howell is settling down and the poise level is totally different. And the dude, it looks like a legitimate NFL quarterback. And if they would unleash his running ability, it would be off the charts from a fantasy standpoint, but he's still not getting any designed runs. But he's still passing so well that he's in this top 5 conversation for the first time all year.
Man, I'm actually between Burrow and Howell, and currently have Howell in the starting lineup. Chart, you're making me feel like I'm making the right choice.
Yeah, I think you are. I mean, Burrow's got the brutal matchup against Baltimore tonight. This is really, really tricky. They played each other back in like week 2. Burrow had the calf injury then, so we're just going to kind of throw that out. But, obviously Baltimore's great. They've given up 7 passing touchdowns all year. That's it, the best in the league. And so there's just not a lot to like here. No T. Higgins, by the way, as well tonight. And so last week, without T. Higgins, they just peppered Tyler Boyd, 12 targets. But the problem this week is the Ravens got a really good slot receiver, a guy named Arthur Mollett, who you don't need to know, but just know he's really good, hasn't given up a touchdown all year. And it is a much tougher matchup. And speaking of Higgins, a lot of people think he's going to be on a different team next year.
He's going to be in Kansas City, Charge. He's going to be in Kansas City.
Yeah, he might be. He really could be, which would be fascinating, by the way. Oh, and before we go, we got to talk about Rashee Rice's big game coming up here, too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it all broke down. I'm really excited to talk to you about it.
We're
Higgins. Yeah, Higgins could be, this offense has been functional in these games without him when he's been hurt. So, yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how this goes, but a much tougher way to go. I got Joe Burrow down at quarterback 13 this week. So, for me, between him and Howell, it's not close.
Let's just stick with tonight's game then, and we'll go to Sunday. So, Thursday night, you mentioned Joe Burrow a little bit. But what about the running backs in this game, specifically on the Baltimore side? Because Gus Edwards seems to still be getting the goal line carries, but everybody's talking about this Keaton Mitchell kid.
Yeah, he's pretty electric. The touchdown he had last week was 21 miles per hour. Ooh. And it's a really small sample size because he's only played 3 games. But get this, averaging 14 yards per carry, 12 yards per reception. It's ridiculous. He's got Pro Football Focus's second best running grade and third best receiving grade. And by the way you beat the Bengals, his opponent tonight, they've got the 4th worst run defense, and they're giving up the 4th most yards per carry. So opportunity's going to be there. But the problem for Keaton Mitchell is John Harbaugh loves his committees. You mentioned Gus Edwards. He's still getting goal line carries. They, for no reason at all, they keep going to Justice Hill. They get like no return on that, but they keep using him a bunch. We've only seen 7 touches per game from Keaton Mitchell. And that's the downside, is he's got to be special on 7, 8, 9. He's got to give him more touches, but he's got to be special on 7, 8, 9, 10 touches, and so far he has been. So it's not a sure thing. My number 23 ranked running back this
week. Overall on defense, Cincinnati hasn't been nearly as bad as last week would make you seem when Noah Brown absolutely destroyed them. So what do you do with Lamar Jackson? Like, normally they've held up pretty good against these quarterbacks, but also you mentioned the running game and all this other stuff. How do we play Lamar tonight?
Yeah, fascinating. So the Ravens have scored the last 3 weeks 31, 37, and 31 points. Whew. So, that's 100 points in 3 weeks. Lamar Jackson has 2 touchdowns. That's it.
Weird.
He's been a victim of his own team's success. They're running the ball, and the game scripts turn run heavy, and they're not exposing him in the running game because they don't have to, because they're up by a bunch. Baltimore's running backs in those 3 games, 8 touchdowns for the running backs in 3 games. But bounce back could very well be coming for Lamar Jackson. He's my number. I told you my number 1, 2, and 3 quarterbacks. He's my number 4 ranked quarterback this week. 3 of the last 4 quarterbacks to face the Bengals have thrown for at least 320 yards, and back-to-back games with quarterback rushing touchdowns allowed. So this game's got way more gunslinger to it than the previous ones have for Jackson. So I'm back on Lamar Jackson. Let's get him in our lineups tonight.
Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com getting us set up for fantasy football here in Week 11. You mentioned Rashee Rice. You said you got some thoughts on what he could be in store for Monday night against Philly.
My sleeper receiver of the week is Rashee Rice. I want to believe this is going to be – we're going to look back. This is overly optimistic. I want to believe we're going to look back and go, that Eagles game was the game where it all changed for Rashee Rice. So the Eagles have allowed the most wide receiver receptions. The Eagles, people think of the Eagles defense as being great, and it's awesome against the run. They've allowed the most wide receiver receptions, the 3rd most wide receiver yards, the most wide receiver touchdowns. Rice is coming off a career-high game in routes run in his last game, 41 of them. He scored in 3 of the past 5. But here's the real reason you love him, because he runs so much from the slot. And that gives him this primo matchup that allows him to avoid those 2 good outside cornerbacks, Darius Slay and James Bradbury. Instead, he's going to face backup slot corner Bradley Roby, who's got a shoulder injury, or if he can't go, even better, rookie Eli Ricks. Roby's barely played this year, but last year he ranked as Pro Football Focus's 122nd cornerback. And this year, the other guy, Eli Ricks, the rookie, ranks dead last in Pro Football Focus coverage, 126th among cornerbacks. So you roll all that together, Rashee Rice. I think this is it. I think this is the game where we have like this big breakout game for Rashee Rice. What do you think? Are you buying it? You with me on this? You feeling it?
I don't think that's out of the question. They keep trying to sell Sky more, but they keep throwing to Rashee Rice more. So I assume at some point that's going to hold out. This is where I like the outsider's perspective, Charge, because Gold and I both think as much as this, like, hey, they're coming out of the bye week, they're going to figure out some things with this wide receiver group. I'm not going to be surprised to find out that it's actually Isaiah Pacheco. Like, if you're looking for a back in the second half who's going to be even more productive than they were in the first half, I think Isaiah Pacheco could be that guy.
Not this week, though. I mean, but the Eagles are such a good run defense that I don't see it happening here. And I've got him way down to 26 in my running back position this week. But yeah, I could see it. Remember last year, this was about the time of year where Pacheco just started to take over, right? I could see the old cold weather running game going. Yeah, that might, I'm buying that. And Pacheco, by the way, he's run well this year. Hasn't always equated to big fantasy success, but I think he's played well.
All right, let's go to Jacksonville for a second. They're coming off a loss. Trevor Lawrence, preseason, people thought maybe was an MVP candidate. It's been a major disappointment on a lot of people's teams, including mine. He was my starting quarterback. I picked up Dak midseason, and now he's my guy. Dak's been playing great the last 3 or 4 weeks. What do you do if you have Trevor Lawrence? I mean, he's just riding the bench for me, I think, the rest of the way.
Drop him.
Drop him.
We're dropping him outright. Woo. Right now, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback 20 in fantasy scoring behind the likes of Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield. Since the opener, Trevor Lawrence's average game, 234 yards and 0.8 touchdowns per game. Now, you might be wondering who else is 234 yards and 0.8 touchdowns per game. Let me put a name on that. Your closest comparable quarterback is the thrice benched Mac Jones.
Oh, no.
And so you might then be thinking, okay, but it's got to get better, right? Well, not necessarily at all, because Jacksonville arguably has the toughest remaining schedule against the pass. 0 favorable games on the schedule left, a couple of neutral games, and the rest are all difficult games against the pass. I'm dropping Trevor Lawrence outright. I'll cobble together other starters. I'm starting Jordan Love this week. Do whatever it takes.
Charge, I know that there weren't a lot of good fantasy players on this roster anyway, but now that the Browns don't have Deshaun Watson, is there value left anywhere outside of Jerome Ford? Can you see Hunt because it can't pass? Like, where's the value now in that unit?
Yeah, it's probably dead. So there's really fast. I'm so glad you brought this up, Cody. Here's Chicago, Cleveland, right in the thick of the playoffs. And they decided not to go with P.J. Walker. They're going to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Now, they tried him one other game this year, and it was bad, really bad. And DTR looked great in the preseason. So when he had that start, I was optimistic it'd go okay. Now, they were playing the Ravens, and they will humble a lot of teams in that game. So maybe that's a lot of quarterbacks. So maybe that's part of it, and they want to give him another chance against a more favorable team. But I think until we see signs of life, that's pretty much that offense is dead to us. And Amari Cooper's such a gamer, too. I hate that happened. By the way, speaking of gamers, whatever else you think about Deshaun Watson, the dude played that game last week, rallying his team to a massive come-from-behind upset on a broken shoulder and a high ankle sprain.
I mean, it's better than I thought he was going to do. I don't know.
I know.
Like, just overall, though, he's been so disappointing.
Oh, so bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that was a good contract, but that was a pretty Herculean effort on his part.
This is weird, but, like, just when it goes to the Browns, like, when they lose that much offensively, does it make it harder to want to play their defense? Their defense is really good, but you're like, I mean, at some point, it's like playing the Jets defense Charge, where they lose football games because they have no choice because the offense can't score.
Yeah, and that I think sometimes that does happen where one ends up impacting the other for sure. Yeah, that can we can see it. A little bit like the Lamar Jackson scenario that we were just talking about.
Paul Charchian, GuillotineLeagues.com. Appreciate it, man. Happy Thanksgiving. We might be on next week, I know, or some of our guys fill it in. We'll work with you on that, but we appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
There you go. Paul Charchian, presented by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, scenic views.
We didn't even ask him his opinion on school pickup lines.
We didn't. We talked about it enough, I feel like.
Without getting his opinion?
Yeah, we talked about it for like 10 minutes already.
This feels like the same. Like, you are currently single, but I remember in the previous times we'd talk about who was going to have kids next. I mean, Drew's the leader, and we can't even have this conversation.
It's you or Drew.
Every single day on the show, I get Drew further away from wanting children. Everything I say is convincing him not to do it.
I mean, we know it's going to be expensive, but just actually hearing some of the figures is just
the actual
jarring.
Figures.
You know, kids are really expensive.
Start with a dog first. See
That's
how
a
that
good
goes.
starter.
See how that goes.
That's what I'm in the ballpark for.
Just get her a puppy for Christmas, dude. She can't say no if you get her a puppy for Christmas.
Bring the puppy home. Roll with that. Talk to our friends at Wayside Waves.
They said they'll bring more puppies in, so you could, get a preview, a puppy preview.
No, I would love to do that, but it's not going to work right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Do you think more puppies are like brought back to the shelter that are bought for like Christmas than any other time of year? It's got to be a high recidivism rate, right?
In terms of like, hey, I was given
People
this and I didn't really want it, or it's not going to work.
Or thinking it's a good idea, then you get to the holiday season, you're like, oh God.
Well, yeah, people realizing it's
what have I
not just
done?
a weekend rental. You know, this is your dog for the rest of their life.
You've had your dog for a decade.
Yeah. No, once you adopt a dog, you're in it for the long haul.
If you if you adopt a dog or you get a dog, you have to know this going in. You can't just
some
be.
people you're right.
stupid.
That's exactly. You have the right
you
mindset.
should know
but
that.
There's some people where Now look, I get it. Hey, you adopt a dog, you bring it home, you got kids in it. It's biting. It starts trying to bite your. I understand that happens, and obviously it's a no go. But otherwise, it's not. The dog's not just for a week rental.
Right.
You don't just return it.
Even if it's a pain in the ass.
Unless it's harming your children or something, that's different. That's a whole different conversation. If it's not good with kids or something.
My dog does herd the children, but it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah.
It just tries to get them to like sheep, just trying to slowly move them through the house in the way that she would prefer.
What a breed of dog do you have? Is it mix or?
Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like a sheep, like a sheep dog. But I mean, it's kind of smaller. It's like maybe 35, 40 pounds. But it was from the shelter. I don't know.
No, mine's a mix of a bunch of stuff too. Yeah. All right, I wanted to get into some. We were going to hit on this a little bit earlier, and then things with the players, Chris Jones, Mahomes, and Andy ran a little long. Sorry, someone says maybe that's what's in your Amazon box.
A puppy? The hell are we gonna?
That'd be a problem. The box has been not chewed open yet.
First, it took like a week and a half to get here, which means it got real bleak. And also, I'd feel terrible that we waited an extra day to open it.
That'd be problematic. Sorry, that text made me actually laugh.
We're gonna open it tomorrow during clubs.
That's right.
6:10.
No, we were going to talk about the Royals Stadium because now, according to the Kansas City Star, there's a third site emerging, and it's weird. Like, it's not a new site per se, but it's a site that everybody kind of pushed to the side and said, all right, it's down to two. It's down to the East Village location in Jackson County. It's down to Clay County's site. Well, the Star is reporting that there's been talks and that the old Kansas City Star building, right, the beautiful glass building that was utilized for like 2 years and then became empty.
The big printing press.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous building, but it's just sitting there vacant. And that site is now suddenly being discussed again and could be a third option. First of all, just the fact that we're potentially discussing a third site being added, and Thanksgiving is a week from today, and they want to get things on the ballot in April, just speaks to the mess that this entire situation has been. There's blame to go around on all sides. Certainly, most notably, I still think Frank White is to blame for a lot of the reasons this thing has not moved along, but still, everybody involved has been part of the problem. The site itself I actually like. That's not the problem for me.
Especially because they're going to put a park, which means literally you could walk across the street from Sprint Center into Power and Light above the park, above 670.
It's the South Loop, and they're gonna basically cover the top of the highway
with their giant green
the green space, which is beautiful. Love the idea. It's right on the streetcar line, right by P&L. No problem with the location, except the big thing we've always discussed, for those that are even against the idea of a massive new stadium, was the ballpark district, and that the team, the ownership group, would own that area. By the way, they're paying themselves $1 billion. They're paying for that themselves. And that would be year-round revenue that you would put back in the team. Well, Cody, this site, there's not enough room to build the district that they're talking about.
And they don't necessarily need it because the district is right there.
Correct.
Right?
So
the
then
park would be there, Power and Light would be there.
So what's the point?
Just to build a new stadium and put it downtown.
Well,
I know this sounds... I mean, it's not that I don't care about the money. You and I've talked a lot about that, but to me, this is like half-assing the attempt to move to downtown baseball.
It's just getting a baseball stadium to get a baseball stadium.
Yeah, it's not creating a new area, a new fundamental system, the jobs, all this creation that you were talking about. It doesn't create it the way it did. Yes, it lowers the price tag, which why this reeks of, like, Frank White would prefer this. I'll just be honest, him. That's what this reeks of. This reeks of, hey, you know what? This might be a lot easier for my constituents if I can get this price tag down quite a bit by reducing the size of this project significantly. I don't think that this is a serious option. I still think the two options are the East Village location, number one with a bullet, and North Kansas City if they can't work out the financing with this. I am hopeful that because these stories are coming a little more rampant, like we're getting them a little closer together than we were during the summer, right? June, July, August, when we were talking more about it than anything was being said. Versus like Lucas yesterday saying, like, no, these talks are substantive. They're going somewhere. Is that the stories are getting closer together because they're getting closer. That is maybe wishful thinking.
Hopefully.
But my thought process is that we're getting closer to a finish line because these stories are coming up closer and closer, which means, hey, we're getting closer to the actual resolution about which site will be.
I hope you're right, man, because otherwise it speaks to the impact it's going to have, as we discussed a couple weeks ago, on the Chiefs. Like, at some point, you just think about timeline. April ballot, deadline is January. You got a campaign still. There's no guarantee it passes, even though we all think it would. It's not a guarantee. No. So the Chiefs can't, once the site's selected, the Chiefs can't just say, well, we know for sure the Royals are out of here. It has to pass. So that means you got to wait till at least April.
Now, we assume that they'll be in on this part of the passing, and they'll try to attach themselves to the bill, maybe.
Maybe.
I said maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if that's a 100% guarantee anymore. Like, we'll see. This is all delaying the future of the Chiefs, too. And this was supposed to be two sites. That one was chosen in September, the first day of summer, right around there, September 26th or whatever. And here we are. And, yeah, Thanksgiving is a week from today. And you think maybe it's closer. I hope you're right. Otherwise, it sounds like another site is being discussed and thrown into the mix that was discussed way back when. Like, oh, this would be a pretty good site. And again, I don't hate the site. It's just that it doesn't give you the vision and the changes to the community, the changes to the community that were quote unquote expected or promised. And it certainly doesn't give you the same possibility of putting money back in the team. And ultimately, the one thing we hear always complaints on are, they're going to use money to actually go spend money to build a winner. Part of the ballpark district was going to be that. If this is a much smaller version of that, that makes sense.
And there is a certain part of economics of baseball, I understand, that you need a lot of different revenue streams in order to have more money for the team. I still think that it's overplayed a little bit. I've always made that clear. I think that the team could just choose to spend more. We saw that in San Diego.
Yeah, but these are businesses, though. Like, we always forget about that. Like, they are businesses.
They can choose to operate a couple of different ways. I think sometimes they overplay the fact that they couldn't just spend some of it now. Of course they could. It's an option. But they're telling you that if I have this, there's a better chance of me spending it. And again, we get to hold them all accountable.
Absolutely.
10 years from now, if they're not spending money on the team, we'd be like, what the hell did we do this all for? You said you were going to make this more competitive, and you and I still think that this is a massive offseason for the Royals. Not just because of the stadium, but because they got to decide things like, hey, can we afford and can we actually get a deal done with Bobby Wood Jr., and how do we make this team more competitive? And they're going to feel more pressure to make this team more competitive this offseason, I would think, based on where this stadium thing is. I am very tired, and I love the stadium stuff. I'm very interested to find out where it's going to go. I can't believe it's taking this long.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought we'd be talking about stadium sites by now and other things, and the ballot and what they're doing ballot measure-wise in order to try to get it to pass and all this stuff, and we're still just kind of like, hanging out there like, all right, just tell me where.
Someone said you guys forgot about putting it on the Kansas side. I think that's more in play if on the Chiefs end. I think that's more in play like if things fell apart and it would impact the Chiefs. I would be stunned if the Royals ended up on the Kansas side. That to me is this Royals thing could lead to the Chiefs going to the Kansas side, though. I think they're hand in hand in that regard. Hopefully that's not the case, but it's not. Everything's on the table the longer this drags out.
Someone says, I hear Vegas has a ton of land. Now they already got a baseball team.
Yeah, today you saw
Vegas
that news.
Officially approved. They've got one.
Are they going to? They should just rebrand, right? They're not going to actually try to call them the Las Vegas A's, are they?
I would just rebrand.
Just rebrand the whole thing. There's already the Las Vegas Aces, so like calling them the Las Vegas A's just doesn't work.
I would just change it. I do think it's funny that Major League Baseball did an entire internal study, and all their study says this ain't going to work. this is not a good fit to put this baseball team in Vegas. And then they're like, unanimous.
But we all know, Cody.
Put them there.
We all knew all the pro leagues were going to.
won't work.
We all know all the pro leagues were going to have teams in Vegas, though. The NBA is going to have one soon,
The
too.
second somebody broke the seal on
the
it,
Knights. Golden Knights.
that opened up the door. And it was very successful. That was it.
They still have that minor league baseball team there, the Las Vegas 51s?
They do. Yeah, they
Literally 3 teams
Do you
have
think
moved
they-
out of the Oakland area in the last 4 years.
Can they have a MLB team and a minor league team there, though?
Well, that's not their problem.
I mean, obviously, they'd have to figure it out. But
Sucks to be you, person who owns the minor league team. I mean, I've never
That would be
seen
terrible.
a city that has both the minor league and that. But also, Major League Baseball is trying to absolutely. They would like to demolish the minor leagues, so they don't care.
Sounds like it, yeah.
They hate the minor leagues anyway.
I mean, the minor league team could also just move further out into the suburbs. I don't know.
Yeah, Reno.
Well, that's not a suburb. That's like
No, I'm just
I was like,
several hours away.
Yeah, I got you. By the way, I mean, because the A's are expected to play in multiple sites over the next couple of years too, because of this, right? The stadium's not gonna be ready yet, so they're gonna play possibly at the Giants, which is weird. Could play in Summerlin, which is a suburb of Las Vegas, or which is the A's AAA site.
Oh my gosh, it's going to sell out because it's like 5,000
stadium's
people.
gonna take a couple years to build their stadium. Yeah, it's wild.
It's like the Coyotes. We just kept saying, "Can you get them out of Arizona, please?" They're playing.
Someone
at a
says we
college.
have the Monarchs and Royals. Yeah, that's not the same thing.
That's independent league baseball,
yeah.
and
it's not affiliated ball.
Yeah.
That's a little bit. I get what you're saying, but it's not the same.
That's more common than the version we're talking about.
Coming up next, we'll get to what's trending, and you'll hear our conversation with Damian Hughes, in which he reminded Drew just how difficult it is to play wide receiver in the league.
Cody and Gold.
The facts on this show are irrelevant.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for our e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Just visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/peaks-club to sign up today. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hey guys, I'm talking to you from right here. Now's the perfect time to take the family planning into your hands and make things easier on your wife or partner. Book your vasectomy now at KCUC. Now, I had mine last year, and I'm in the clear now. The whole process of getting a vasectomy takes less than a week. I went into KCUC. The procedure itself is about 30 minutes long, and then I was back on the couch at home for a few days resting up. And not long after, I was back into my normal routine. So book your vasectomy now at KCUC. KCUC's doctors are opening up their schedules for more slots for vasectomies. With 15 locations in the KC Metro and 11 more around Kansas and Missouri, there's a KCUC close to you. Now's the time to book your vasectomy. So call 913-348-8264 or just go to kcuc.com for more information and to book your appointment. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than now. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options that include the spreads, player props, over-under, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online, real money wager only. $5 pregame moneyline wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
P-Factor Portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's head out. The theater's about to close.
Wait, what does that sign say?
Warning, watch your step.
No, next to it.
If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro and online at gomers.com.
Gomer's has all you need for holidays and game days. Voted KC's #1 liquor store year after year. It's Gomer's mission to be the best in price, selection, and service. 5 convenient locations in the KC Metro. Or shop online at gomers.com for curbside or delivery.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
We know the Chiefs are getting set to take on the Eagles on Monday Night Football. A little update from Andy Reid today. Good news, no new injuries, which means everybody's expected to practice today as they get set for that showdown. We'll find out later today if anybody was limited in practice, but all signs pointing in the correct direction for this team to be as healthy as possible. Coming off a bye week, we know the Eagles are fairly healthy except for longer-standing injuries, just like the Chiefs have Nick Bolton out for a while. Dallas Goedert, the very good tight end for Philadelphia, not available.
Next up on What's Trending, Atlanta has been named the All-Star Game host in 2025 for Major League Baseball. 2026 was already decided. I'm like, wait, why are they doing it reverse? Because in 2026, it'll be in Philadelphia. It's the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So they put it in Philadelphia so they can do some TV stuff.
I get it, but also, what does it have to do with the All-Star Game? I understand.
Baseball's American.
Yeah,
Declaration of America.
I get it.
You know, America.
Yeah.
That's what.
I mean,
that's the
it's
common
fine.
thread.
That's fine.
America's pastime and America.
It's in Texas next year. It's at the Rangers ballpark next summer.
Just if you were thinking about the stadium stuff, Atlanta built their new stadium like 4 or 5 years ago. So maybe 2035, if the 2033. You get another All-Star game here in KC. The one in KC here the last time was so much fun. I know you didn't get to go. It was a blast.
Next up on What's Trending, thinking of baseball, the A's expected to play in a variety of sites after their Oakland Coliseum lease expires after this next season. Remember, today, the MLB approved its move to Las Vegas, but the stadium's not going to be ready. So in 2025, they could play at the Giants ballpark in San Francisco, which is weird. Also, Summerlin, Nevada, which is a suburb of Vegas, which is also the A's AAA site.
Next up on What's Trending, the WWE, yes, that, the World Wrestling Entertainment Company, and the Big 12. Yeah, the conference. They've partnered. For partners around the Big 12 title game, the pact includes a custom-made WWE title belt for the outstanding player, presented by a WWE superstar, and events around the game featuring WWE talent. Dude, this is all, like, this fully speaks to the current commissioner they have versus the old kind of, like, out-of-touch white dudes they had before. He is going to do anything to partner with big other entertainment companies. So WWE Championship belt, dude, if you're the outstanding player of that game, that's dope.
Yeah, it's very smart. Brett Yormark, yeah, he's willing to take some risk. He's done a lot of course, even in New York. Remember, the Big 12 had like a practice thing in Harlem this year, I believe, on the courts there. Like, he's done a lot of innovative things that you normally wouldn't see. It's smart. You got nothing to lose. And, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dude.
That what?
I'm just laughing at them.
Which one?
The text on the All-Star game, they're all asking about bunting now.
Oh, yeah. There will be a lot of bunting.
Everybody knows now. Wait, Drew doesn't. Hey, Drew, real quick, if I mention opening day baseball and bunting, what do you think that means?
Like you're laying down a bunt.
Damn it.
Yeah, see? See? I'm with you, Drew.
And the reason why I say that is because we have had this conversation before. You're talking about the stuff that's...
okay. I couldn't remember if you were a part of that
and
or
like
not.
the backstop, right?
I don't know.
All over the stadium.
All over the stadium. Bunting.
There will be a lot of bunting. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Earlier today, we caught up with Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. And the first question I asked Danon was about whether or not Drew could get 2 catches for 14 yards in an NFL game, because you were pretty convinced yesterday that you could, and we thought you were out of your dang mind. So we'll get Danon's advice on this again.
1,000% out of his mind.
Come on.
And I don't know which one is more of a stretch, the 2 catches or the 14 yards, because I don't think he would get either of those in an NFL game. I think this is just another example, guys, of slow motion, the instant replay, the constant barrage of videos that we see at different motions and different speeds, making people falsely believe that they could actually go on an NFL field and produce. The game is significantly faster than what you think you're seeing in real time. I don't care about the segments with the telestrator and the drawing the lines and the space that you think you see. It is literally faster, extremely faster than what your eyes are deceiving you to believe. So, yeah, you're way out of the park in believing that you could catch 2 passes, never mind it be for 14 yards.
I thought the only advantage he might have, Danon, is they straight up just might not cover him. Like, screw this. We're just not going to put anybody on him. We're just going to double somebody else, because even if the ball goes his way, we're going to be to him in about a half a second, or he's going to drop it.
Yeah, I remember the story, and I had been a veteran in the league as a wide receiver, and not many people realize that Ronnie Lott's last stint in the NFL was with the Chiefs. He came and he was part, I want to say it was either 97 or 98, where he came he was a free agent signee with the Chiefs in the preseason, and we're practicing up in River Falls, and I run a slant route, and even at that age, which he had to be pushing 40, around that time, he flew by me, spared my life, flew right by me. I still caught the ball, finished the play. It was practice. He took mercy on me. And as I went back to the huddle, he was like, "Hey, I could have put you down there, and make sure your quarterback knows not to hang you out like that in a real game." And it was just the reality of, I played in the league 5 years. That was my 6th year going into. I knew about the speed of the game, but it was just maybe I had taken my eye off the prize, I guess, in regards to recognizing that he still had the speed in the game. And so that was kind of a reality check that you never take anybody for granted. I kind of feel like that would be the case for Drew, where somebody, Justin Reed or somebody, would just fly right by him, maybe let him catch the ball, just scare the crap out of him because other than that, he would not probably catch a pass.
Yeah, I mean, the topic came about because of Kadarius Toney. 2 catches for 14 yards. That's what he's averaging. We heard Andy Reid's comments earlier this week talking about him, staying healthy and remembering that he's coming off a knee injury. Look, I get that. I think before the season, Danon, if I would have said, hey, he's going to play 15 games, we all would have said, man, he's going to have like 900 yards this year. Well, he might play 15 games this year, but if he's not producing or getting playing time, that's not doing anything for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a question that has not been answered yet. And I even take myself back into the preseason. Yeah, he had a great Super Bowl. He was a catalyst in us getting another ring. But the questions that I brought up after the Super Bowl still remain unanswered. It's about the vertical game for our wide receivers. And it's nice, it's the bright, shiny coin when you're going east and west and you're running sideline to sideline passes, swing routes, bubble screens, jet sweeps, all of those things. That's great. And they work to some extent. But to me, the true testament of a viable receiver, especially in this offense and a dangerous threat for Patrick Mahomes, is the vertical game. How do you run your hooks? How do you run your deep ends? How do you run your posts, your goes, your comebacks? How much separation? And most importantly, how many throws that come from Patrick Mahomes are easy throws because you've created enough separation that he can just toss the ball to you and you can make plays. He's had those opportunities, and I just haven't seen a consistent amount, in that realm to say that he could be a true number 2, number 3, or even number 4 receiver. Yeah, he's going to have his packages, and we're going to see those involved in the game where he lines up in the backfield, he runs jet sweeps, fakes jet sweeps, maybe backside screens, all of those things. But for me as a wide receiver in this offense specifically, if we're going to make another run to a Super Bowl, we need to see more consistent play vertically from not just him, but all the receivers.
So Peter King, he was on Carrington's show on The Drive, and he said that Andy Reid is still, at least to him, talking about Sky Moore as someone he really believes in. Like, put him in the same conversation as Rashee Rice. All these things you're talking about, let's just say off the ball. Maybe he's just not getting it. Do you see some of that with Sky Moore? I don't want to just write the guy off, Danon, but at some point, like we talked about with Toney, production has to be at play.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has to come in play. There's a lot of football left. I mean, we're just past the halfway point of the season. So we've seen how production can elevate for several guys in this offense over the past 6 years. So I don't doubt Andy Reid's confidence in Sky Moore. I think there's definitely an area of this offense that could work for Sky Moore, maybe more like we've seen some of the outs, the hook routes, kind of the routes that he's forced to stop and come back to the quarterback, maybe implementing him more on the shallow crosses and the crosses across the field would be better served for him because he is definitely a threat when he catches the ball. It's just about getting him in the right positions to do so. But I don't know with the emergence of Rashee Rice, I don't know how much more you're going to give Sky Moore. Like, to me, at this point, when you look at this offense from a wide receiver standpoint, every time Rashee Rice is off the field, that's one less opportunity he has to make a big play. And he's been making the most big plays for this wide receiver crew. So you're going to have to balance that. That's what the great thing is about the bye week. I know it's about rest for players, but it's also about the self-scouting. And in talking with the coaches over the years, like, there's a lot that goes into the bye week and self-scouting, doing a self-inventory of teams, and all the analytics that come into play. Okay, well, when Sky Moore goes in motion, is he getting open? When Sky Moore lines up on the slot, when he lines up outside the numbers, how often is he getting separation? How often are we throwing him the ball? Does Patrick have confidence in him in certain circumstances? All of that is logged in. So now when the guys come back from their break, and they've been back from their break, but when they got back from their break, there's a game plan. If it's not posed directly to each player, like a job review, there's a game plan that is calculated based on that information. So this will be the first time that maybe we'll see some things corrected to put guys in better situations instead of what we saw in the first 9 weeks.
We're talking to Dane Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Of course, you'll hear him on the call Monday night for the Chiefs Radio Network. And Monday night, it's Chiefs-Eagles. It's the Super Bowl rematch. And one thing you remember that whole week leading into the game, everybody was talking about was that defensive front for Philadelphia and how the Chiefs were going to be able to stop that defensive front that, had 100 sacks since the start of last season. That's the most in the NFL. And the Chiefs, have allowed actually 38 sacks, which is tied for the fewest. And we know the Chiefs didn't give up a single sack in the Super Bowl. How different is that for this game? Because that was like the talking point heading into the Super Bowl game.
Well, I think it's a huge talking point because if we remember from the Super Bowl, especially the aftermath, what did we hear? Oh, the field was the reason.
Everyone's complaining about the field, yeah.
Yeah, we got pressure in Jalen Hurts' face, and we were on the same field as far as I remember. So I think the front seven for the Eagles, if they believe that, truly believe that, they're going to come out like gangbusters in this game to prove that that was just an anomaly, that it was true, and we can get consistent pressure in the face of Patrick Mahomes. They're also coming off a bye week, so the same things I just mentioned about the self-scouting and the self-inventory, they actually have had an opportunity to do so as well right before this game. So this is more like the Super Bowl than anything else that I've seen in a while, where you have both teams coming off a bye week, just like you would have prior to the Super Bowl, and be able to put their best foot forward against each other. They got the emotion. There's nothing like losing that big game. I lost in the AFC Championship and couldn't wait to play the Buffalo Bills again. And so I believe that the emotional aspect of the game, they will be at a height for the Eagles that they probably haven't played on since that Super Bowl. But like, we've seen the best punches. We've seen the haymakers from other teams. We know that we're going to receive a Super Bowl effort from every team we play, not just the Eagles. And we'll see if we're up to the challenge. I don't see it any differently than the Miami Dolphins, and hopefully we can step up and win just like we did then.
Dane, in the game tonight, Ravens-Bengals has an impact on the Chiefs for a variety of reasons, either since he kind of gets right back into the playoff picture and back into their division picture, or it gets a lot harder for them, but the Ravens are a much, tougher for the 1 seed. Who are you rooting for tonight as it relates to the Chiefs?
Never thought I'd say it, but I'm going to say the Ravens. I just have a higher disdain for the Bengals.
That's right, Drew. You hear that?
Our producer's a Bengals fan,
Oh, still.
No, it's fine.
Keep going. Keep going.
For sure. I don't want any success to happen for the Bengals. I feel like they were probably the most disrespectful team to the success of the Chiefs. Burrowhead still, Burrow's in my head, and I just don't want any success to happen for them. I feel like they and the Bills, in many respects, believe that they've still been the best team in the AFC. They just happen to come up short. And what better way to kind of move past that chapter in this Chiefs history than to not even have to deal with them in the postseason again?
Smoking on a Joe Burrow, one of our favorite shirts that we had there. I think we got you one of those.
I got one. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right, Dane, appreciate it, man. We'll be listening. Players Only starts back up next week, right?
Yes, sir. We'll be back. Actually, next week is Thanksgiving, so we'll be back
there you go.
after that. So
that makes sense.
After that, we'll be on a consistent run through the rest of the season, so definitely tune in.
All right, man. Appreciate it. There you go. Dane Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. So that was a little bit earlier today when Dane joined us. He confirmed that there's no chance you're getting 2 catches for 14 yards, Drew. And how about the hate towards your Bengals?
I wish them no success.
Tonight, Thursday Night Football, huge game. Go Ravens. That's right. Go Ravens tonight.
Go ahead.
We're all rooting for the Ravens.
I know everybody is. I know.
I think at first I thought this would be a deeper question. Like maybe it was going to be a bigger topic on the show. Do you root for the Ravens or do you root for Cincinnati? But Cincinnati's been a big thorn in your side. The Ravens have never won any important postseason game.
That's true.
You still have the advantage on them even if they win on the number 1 seed as it sits right now. And you just want to bury Cincinnati. And you don't, like he said, you don't wish for any success for them. Watching them struggle is good for the Chiefs. They've talked more trash against the Chiefs than any other team by a mile.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Like, there's no doubt you respect Burrow for his talent.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like, he's a smug SOB. And sometimes you can't.
so's
You
Jamar.
can't. Yeah, man.
Joe,
You got a cigar of your own, I see.
Yeah, I'm smoking the Joe Burrow.
You smoking on the Joe
I'm
Burrow.
smoking on the Joe Burrow.
That's an all-timer right there.
Hey, Joe Burrow has said many times that the number one quarterback in the league is
he's
Patrick
arrogant
Mahomes.
as hell.
No, he is not.
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh, Joe Burrow?
Absolutely, he is. And
No, he's not.
he hasn't
That's
said
fine.
some of the
Jamar,
stuff.
Mahomes is also arrogant.
Jamar
Sure.
Chase is.
Yeah, Jamar Chase. He hasn't said the stuff that Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd have said. I'll give you that. But that whole team, there isn't like you can. Yeah, there's some things that have been said, man. The Burrowhead thing is definitely part of it. Some things have
the
been
Chiefs
said.
have some smug players. It's okay.
But if on the Chiefs side of things, yeah, can't stand them. Like if you were to ask any Chiefs fan who they hate the most in the league right now, it's absolutely your
it's the Bengals.
guys.
And if you ask me who I hate the most, it's not the Chiefs.
Oh, who is
Pittsburgh.
it? It's Pittsburgh
It
still.
is the
They run to the thumb
it
of
is
Pittsburgh for a real
it is
long
the
time.
Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens tied. I cannot stand
a lot
either of
of-
those teams.
Yeah.
The
Well, you
Chiefs.
should hate the Ravens fan base too. They once showed you their bare ass.
I was in Baltimore.
Ravens fans.
What's
you
funny
know?
to think about that? What's funny to think about that game? So that was a couple years ago. I was there for Sunday Night Football, and the city itself. We had a great time that weekend. But we were there, and of course the Chiefs lose. That was the Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble game, and at that point, Baltimore fans thought they were going to go win the damn Super Bowl. Remember, they get all the injuries after that, and they ended up not even making the playoffs, I think. But to think of where they're at now as a team, they have a chance to once again reach that level if they can win the playoffs. But yes, on the way out, I was walking out of the stadium, and I got mooned by Ravens fans and called a lot of different things on the way out of the stadium.
Yeah, they might be the worst
I
fans
was
on the planet.
Clearly outnumbered. I kept my mouth shut. I wasn't stupid. I was clear. It was me and 3 other Chiefs fans, and then about 15,000 Ravens fans huddled up against us after a night game.
You kept real quiet,
I'm keeping my mouth shut. Keeping my mouth shut.
You know what? I got to be honest.
But then we got the last laugh anyway. So.
The only time I've legitimately been frustrated with the Chiefs is when Andy Reid called a toss play. Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran backwards 8 yards, and I lost a parlay because Clyde went 2 yards under his over-under total
In
because he
fairness,
lost 8 yards on one carry.
Betting on Clyde overs is just the surest way to lose any amount of money.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm thinking of bets tonight. A couple. What do you guys like? So it's a huge game.
Tyler Boyd's over?
I like
any.
Yeah, Boyd over 40. Boyd over.
Don't ask me.
Boyd over 44. Over 44 and a half receiving yards for Boyd. He had 8 catches, over 100 yards. With the last game, T. Higgins was out. So that's what I like. And I think the over, guys. I like Baltimore minus 3.5, and I think the game goes over.
What is it?
I like Mark Andrews to get the first touchdown, but I
know
only
you do.
like it because I bet it.
That's why you like it, yeah.
I do think it
used one
goes
of
over
those-
too.
I used one of those ESPN $50 free bets, and so I got 50
Yeah,
to
man.
win 450 on Mark Andrews' first touchdown tonight.
He can go ahead and get it. but the
Take
Bengals still
advantage
win.
of those free bets, man. You got a family
46 and
member,
a half
you got
now.
a family member that doesn't like betting. You know, just go over their house, use their phone, ask them if they can use their login info.
I'm going to make my wife sign up so I can get
What do you think? I'm texting my mom after the show today and be like, hey, go make an account, please.
I
Use
guess
your free bets.
I technically did make a bet. It was the Greeny special on the ESPN bet.
I don't like doing those.
Joe and Lamar combined for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. They combined for 4 touchdowns last time. Nearly got to the 500. Joe had the hurt calf.
Is
I
it
think
3.5 or is it 4 for the win?
It is 4 plus. It
4
is
plus,
4
okay.
4 total.
That's-
So
I just
over
wanted to
3.5 essentially combined. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as you pointed out from charts, though, Lamar's only got 2 touchdowns in his last 2 games total.
Yeah,
Or 3
and-
games
and-
total, and they've scored a lot of
To
points.
to
during
his
that
point, the Bengals' run defense is horrendous. The run defense has been awful.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, they'll have to be good against one of the best running teams in the NFL.
So tomorrow, are we expecting bright orange?
Regardless of whether they win or lose, I
emergency
will wear
traffic cone outfit for post Cincy, or are we?
Regardless of whether they win or lose, I will wear my Bengal stuff tomorrow. I do not.
This looks like
go to the
Succession
closet and
cosplay
hide
today.
when the Bengals lose. I don't run away and hide. Come on now, you got to be loud and proud, baby.
Drew's Kindle today. Just hope that you're not walking towards the river like he was in the last scene after tonight's game.
Marty
That's
McFly,
exactly
baby.
how he's going to be walking if they lose tonight.
Marty McFly, baby.
Hope everybody has a good rest of their Thursday. We're back at it tomorrow. It's the Club 610 Friday. We're going to open that mystery box live
about
on
to
the
get
air.
rich tomorrow.
Or it's going to be a bunch of
Let's
cell
hope
phone
so.
cases and spatulas. We don't know. We'll talk